But even at your surprise, to me, how can you be?
Yo, what's poppin'? Hey,
Yo,
y'all didn't see that, right? We good, right? Hey, everything cool. What's happening? All right. Hop in your collar.
Yeah. Whew, that was close, baby.
It was close because it was going down a
Sorry
dark.
to everybody out there.
It was going down a little rabbit hole, boy. Oh man.
Raise that bar, baby.
Hey, it's another beautiful day here in Oakland, California, by way of Alameda College. We are in the building. We're ready to learn. We're excited to be here to see if we can impart some knowledge. Shout out to Alameda College. Hopefully you guys have had a great day, a good day. If not a good day, you learn some good shit from your day so that you can get better. We're gonna be smashing through the 15 commitments the way it went last week. Don't look like I'm gonna get through this one, but we're gonna try our best. Before we start getting into the slides, I want to tap a little bit on the word change. Change. When you think about the word change and what you need from the word change or changing, what do you think about? Think about the word change. Anybody?
Uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable is a word.
Positive.
Positive. Anybody else?
Unfamiliar.
Unfamiliar, change. Uncomfortable, positive, unfamiliar.
Newness or something different.
Newness. As humans, is that all we want to do in life? Is change something? Are you in a constant state of change? Yes, yes. Seems like as humans, your journey in life, you're in a constant state of change. Some voluntary, some involuntary. Right? Even when you're changing your age every year, you're growing. As an adolescent, you're growing. When you first are conceived, you're changing. Compound interest until you're a baby, then you change. Environments from your mom's stomach to out the stomach. Now you're in this world of change. You got to figure out the world, and you change grades every year throughout your life. And as soon as you get comfortable in a particular life situation, you got to change. You go from crying and shitting in your diaper when you need something, and everybody coming around serving you to saying, get it yourself, get up and walk. As soon as you get comfortable with get up and walk, it's like, oh, well, then you can go to school then. And now you have to be changed away from your environment and learn this school shit. Then you in school, you're changing grades, and now your body's changing. Like, what's going on? I just got comfortable. Now my teeth falling out. Now I got these buck teeth looking crazy. And now I'm going through this growth spurt. I keep changing. Every school year, you're changing. Then you have these dreams and aspirations. You also got these bad habits from the environment that you're in. You're watching the adults around you. You don't know, as a kid, you don't know that what the adults around you are doing, or some of the stuff is bad habits. And you imitate some of these habits. You get older. It's high school time. You change again. You hit puberty. Now you used to just want to play. Now you looking at the opposite sex like, damn, I need that. So now you chasing that. Changed again. You went from not caring about showering and being dirty to now you spraying cologne on and taking showers every day and need a fresh cut because you changed. Now it's time for dreams and goals and life goals. And now you're realizing some of those habits that you had, they're hard to get away from. It's hard to change now. It's hard to change. And those habits creep up on you over time. So you go to work, you try to find a job, you're trying to figure out life, you're trying to find life's purpose, who you are, where you're going, and you're constantly changing, trying to change into where you want to be. And damn, as soon as you get into your 30s, you're wiser than in your 20s, and you think you know some shit. Change. You hit your 40s, you like, I thought I was smart in my 30s. Shit, I was an idiot in my 30s. Change. Body start changing. Some of the habits creep up on you. Body start breaking down in those places. Life relationships. The person you may thought you was going to spend the rest of your life with, gone. Change. How do I recover from that? So now you're changing from a recovery space on a reactionary space to a proactive space. I thought I wanted to be this position or this job or this career, but I changed my mind. Change will never stop. Get older, change. You have to change your workout style because this shit don't work how it used to. Everything. So you're in a constant state of change. Most people hate change. They don't realize that you're swimming in change. Fucking swimming in it. So don't you think it's a good idea to study change? Don't you think it would be a good study? If I had to get a PhD in anything, it would be how I can maximize change, be the best change in the best way possible. Most efficient, most effective way. How do I change? How do I change my money? How do I change my relationship situation? How do I change my body? We sit up here for years and we give everything we got up here. I give you everything we got. Every trick in the book. Every trick in the book. For the purpose, hoping that something would seep in, slide in there, get down to the governing beliefs and help you change. That's the reason we're here. It ain't for nothing else. It ain't for none of the fucking fame or the social currency and none of the shit. It's to see, hopefully, some percentage of people that take in some knowledge and wisdom and change. So I'm saying this early because some of y'all ain't never thought about this before or never even heard about it or it never really crossed your mind. That's why I love sometimes having conversations with people. And somebody's like, Court, damn, I love, like, when you and Nana be speaking and the stuff you be saying, it be making sense. And I know it works, but fucking I can't. Change is hella hard. I can't change. I'll get in the moment, right up to the moment, I'll know it. And right up in the moment, that pocket of the moment, it's like, I'm speaking Chinese. I don't know shit. Like I never heard it. And then when the moment's over, I'm back to knowing it. Right? We got to study change. You got to be obsessed with change. Fucking obsessed with it. Got to be obsessed. How growing up, man, growing up, you guys would be surprised. Like, I had so many fucking bad habits and addictions. Bad habits, fucked up personalities, destructive behaviors, and addictions like you would not believe. And I did not understand. I couldn't understand how to change. I remember I got kicked out of my house for the last time from my mom. And it was, I didn't do nothing. It was, for me, it was, I didn't do nothing. It's not my fault. I didn't do nothing. She sent me into the store to go. She sent me into the store. She had to cook dinner, didn't have all the shit. Pull up to Safeway, Lucky's, forget what it was. you got to get these 4 things. Ran in there, grabbed the 4 things. I'm standing in a line, and there's a person in there that had a major problem with me. Just happened to be there. We tearing up the whole Safeway.
Oh, God.
I tried to. It wasn't my fault, right? I didn't do nothing. Security, this, that, and she happened to like see the come in, and she like, I'm done. I'm done. I'm like, it's not my fault. Everywhere I go, it seems like this shit's following me. I ain't do nothing. Why are you laughing at me, Kaja? I didn't do nothing, Mom. I didn't. I did what you told me. He came after me. You got to change. I'm like, I'm trying. I remember, man, so I packed my shit, and I'm out. Thinking, this is not my fault. I'm doing the best I can. From the last situation that happened. Guess what? I started figuring out, damn, what's the psychology of change? How does this like bad luck happen like this all the time for me? In these weird situations where I'm not doing nothing. And I will always find reasons to blame situations, this, that, and the other. Start over time being obsessed with change. Obsessed with how do I change? I've been in the church. It didn't seem to do much. But create this surface version that has all the answers and knows how to be respectful and knows how to not cuss in the right times. But underneath that surface, nothing. The same old me. How do you really, really change? Obsessed with it. And I would. Have you ever been around somebody who always was in fucked up situations, but you felt bad for them because they was trying? Mm-hmm. Any females deal with dudes like that? He trying. I see he trying. He got potential. He trying though. He did 10 bad things. I yelled at him, and I see now he's trying. But are you changing? What's the psychology of change, man? So, this is a few pieces to start this idea in your head. Because, and this is a lifelong journey, man. It's a lifelong journey. First thing, some people change by just knowing it's possible. Some people change by just knowing it's possible. So when the 4-minute mile was deemed to be impossible by man, they said we physically were incapable of running a 4-minute mile. And that was for thousands of years. Thousands of years. Mankind just believed it, rocked with it. In 40 something, 30 something, I forget, in the early 1900s, someone broke the 4-minute mile. You know what happened after that? 7 people did it after he did. What? Sometimes just by knowing it's possible can allow people to break through and change situations. Just by knowing it's possible. Doesn't work for everybody, but that is sometimes it's helpful to help you in your change. Just knowing somebody else can do it. You see another black man, millionaire, that's doing it, positive things for your family, it gives you some hope that it's possible for you. Man, I used to sit there and watch the Huxtables like, damn, there's people out there who live like that? That's crazy. I need that when I grow up. I need that. Sometimes just seeing it and knowing that somebody else did it. It's not the bulk, but it's there. Another thing is the spirit of competition can help you change. Have you ever somebody who needs a workout partner to go to the gym? Or if they don't got that workout partner, their life is over? It's because they like to be engaged and like, what you doing? Oh, let me get. You hear that thing, iron sharpens iron, right? Mm-hmm. Being in a space with somebody who's your peer and y'all are jockeying back and forth in a friendly competition, sometimes you can change. You can change. Some people could change in that situation. And that's the environment piece that we're talking about. I remember when that happened, I begged my mom, let me move back. I'm going to do good. I'm going to be good. I promise. I promise I'm going to be good. After begging, she handed me a contract. You got to sign this contract, read it. And it was like hella bullshit. Like, you got a Bible study with brother whatever. You got to do this. You have to go get a job. You have to find a job. So it was all these things in the contract. And she named the friends I couldn't hang out with no more that lived in the same apartment complex with me. One downstairs below me. Like, this one going to be hard. But you got to change your environment, who you hang out, everything. So I just, wanting to get back home, because I was in a bad life situation, I signed that shit. Okay, here. Move back home. I'm trying. I go get a job. I'm busting tables. I'm trying to do all the shit on the list. I'm sitting there through this Bible study. And the one thing on the list was my friends. Court, you back? Oh man, come on. Let's get back on it. Can't duck my friend. They right here. We live in this ghetto. We live in the project type shit. We all up under each other. Where I'm gonna go? What time you get off? I'm coming to where you working. Everywhere I go, the type of friends that I had. I'm trying to do my shit, man. Come on, man. I'm trying to do my square shit. I love you. Leave me alone. I'm busting tables. One day I'm standing at the, I'm going to dump some dishes off, and I walk back, and somebody's like, hey, them dudes look like they could be your friends. Joking to me because he was lightweight racist. I look up, they're my friends. One's at that door, one's at that door. I'm like, fuck. Get down. So then we have a meeting, and they say, all the waitresses and busboys gather around. Raise your hand if you've gotten robbed in the parking lot. My hand didn't go up, and everybody else is dead. I'm like, damn it. Corey, sorry, you fired. So I said, Mom, look, if you want me to really do this shit, you got to change my environment. You got to change my environment. There's no way I could do this shit like this. I did too much over here. I need a new environment. We moved. The circle of the people that I was introduced, they were go-getters in a positive way. In a positive way. Good people. Just good people. Good kids. Going after dreams and goals and shit. So we would go do stuff like bowling, and somebody would say something slick, and I'd be like, what you say? And they're like, Court, stop. We don't do that shit. We don't do that. Come on. And I'd be like, oh, okay. And they would check me for being out of pocket in the other way and be like, no, that's not even art. Man, I apologize for that. Positivity. And over time, I didn't realize I was changing. I just started changing. Environment is a way you can change. So there's a story that went out that said there was an alcoholic dad, and he had 2 sons, twin boys. And one of the boys turned into an alcoholic when he grew up. And one never touched alcohol, ever. So a psychologist said, hey, how'd you end up being an alcoholic too? He said, what? Look at my dad. He was like, okay. And they asked the one who never touched alcohol, what happened? How come you never touched alcohol? He said, what? Look at my dad. So sometimes people have, they because they've experienced so much trauma, they run to the opposite. They run to the opposite. Some of the nicest brothers you know are probably most dangerous because they run to the opposite. They seen too much smoke, and they're some of the nicest, kindest people that you know. So that just happens sometimes. So some change occurs with trauma and running to the opposite. Don't always happen. Some people go that direction too. But at the end of the day, it boils around environment, mentorship, leverage. Now, the last part is the leverage part. I mean, this is leverage, and we're going to move on. No one, and I mean no one, not even God, not the Bible, not your pastor, not your parents, no, can change you. No one. No one. So if you ever go to a place and be like, hey, can change me, it'll never happen. Ever. And if that has been your approach, it's probably why you ain't changed in anything. Because can't nobody change you. You have to create the leverage within yourself to change. You got to want that shit. You got to want it bad. You got to want it. What are all the reasons pro and against? What happens if I don't change? What happens if I do? And you got to build up the leverage in your body to make you want to change. The information that we give you won't do shit if you don't have leverage within yourself. I need this. I want to change. What's going to happen if I don't? What's going to happen if I don't change? I remember those same, at a certain point in time, my group of friends got into it with another group. It was nasty. Mm-hmm. And I saw a lot of shit that was a lot of shit, a lot of death. And the what's going to happen if I don't change gives a real answer. Oh shit, it's me. Like if I don't, it's me. Mm-hmm. Like you have to get real with yourself and use that leverage in anything, whether it's eating. I know I'm supposed to eat carrots. I know I'm supposed to eat carrots. I know I'm supposed to eat healthy. What do I enjoy about it? Man, it tastes good. It feels good. It changes my state, changes my mood. We talk about know thyself, right? Know thyself. Why do I keep, it's because, man, why do I keep eating this shit? Why do I keep eating when I know I'm not supposed to? It's because I have a reward system that's been happening my whole life. Some people, when it comes to eating, have a reward system. When you did something good at school, where did your parents take you? Fenton's, this place, that place. You got rewarded. Subconsciously, as an adult, you still taking yourself to Fenton's every time you do something good. Mm-hmm. 50 years old, your metabolism is like, what the fuck are you doing? Your cholesterol, everything. So naturally, sometimes we'll reward ourselves. That's me sometimes. I had a bad day. I need to reward myself. I landed a big deal. Let's go reward myself. I've been too square. I need to go do some crazy shit just to see that all those things is understanding who you are and why you do those things. But if you got leverage next to you, it can allow you to reason with yourself back down off of those things. But you got to study change. You got to study change. You got to study it like your life depend on it, because your next move where you want to go is not going to be determined by how many books you read. It's not. Or how many classes you go to, how much you listen. It's going to ultimately be determined by your ability to change where you are to where you get closer to where you want to be. Last example, and I'm out with this topic. It's and the reason why it's funny to me is because I'm in the middle of trying it. Oh, and it's so hard for me. And I am trying to be a question asker in all my scenarios. I want to make very little statements, and I want to ask most questions. It sounds so simple, don't it? Mm-hmm. So simple. And I get in a situation, I might ask the first question. After the first question, I'm going in for the kill. Statement, command, statement. And I'll sit there and say, ask a question, just ask questions, stay in the question zone. And I fuck up all the time. 80% of the time right now. It's hella hard. And I watched Nana at the beginning of this. Nana was a statement. He knew a lot. I first met him, lots of statements. And when he introduced it first, questions. And in 5 years, I watched him transform from mostly statements, hardly no questions, to questions. One question, all statements. Then 2 questions, all statements. Mm-hmm. 3 questions, all statements. 4 fucking all questions. And shit's amazing now. Dope as fuck. And you don't realize how hard it is until you try it. And that's how you change. It may take 3, 4, 5 years. So what? But that's how you change. And it's one conversation at a time. How many conversations did it take for you to get there? 365 times 5. So leverage, sometimes change is presented to us like, oh, I went to sleep and I woke up and I'm changed. It's hardly ever like that. It's usually like that if you committed to it. So if you're addicted to something, or you got a habit, where's your leverage and where's your practice? But start your obsession with learning how to change and learning how you can change it specifically. Cool? Any questions on that? All right, let's get going. All right, keep going. Let's go to the 4th one. Bang. All right.
But now get past it.
Speaking candidly, I commit to saying what is true for me. I commit to being a person to whom others can express themselves. Jack Welch, the team that sees reality the best, wins. Withholding causes energy depletion and relational discontent. Handling handling judgment tells you more about yourself than about the world, about your values, insecurities, and expectations. Circles to candor, truth, the accuracy of reveal, openness, how much is revealed, awareness, how self-aware am I?
Okay, let's start backwards and work our way up. First is awareness. How self-aware am I? How self-aware are you? Regardless of what the world is doing, we got to focus on our awareness, knowing ourselves. How self-aware are you? Because that's truth. If your self-awareness is on point, that is objective truth. Being open. Openness means I am going to be an open book to allow myself to change. If you go up to somebody and say, all right, I want to change. They say, okay, well, talk to me. Tell me about yourself. And you give them one thing out of 9. Because you to the vest. And then you end up mad at them because they didn't give you the shit to change. And you don't change. Well, how open were you? Why'd you come? There was one time I went to a therapist with somebody. It was couples therapy. Couples therapy, you know all the shit. They know all they all know your shit. You know all of their shit. So the therapist is asking questions on the other side, and she lying. How are we supposed to get to the root of stuff if you lying and holding back? Openness. You got to be open. Sometimes we have to work hella hard to uncover your bullshit to get to a place to where we can have a good dialogue. Mm-hmm. And it usually comes in a form of casual, like Ace was talking about. Because we all have our press secretaries, and those press secretaries can sound hella good. Mm-hmm. Well, that's a cognitive distortion, and about the so-and-so and the first order and second principle thinking, and you're like, oh, shit, okay. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, what you do this weekend? Man, fuck that shit. I was out there. These motherfuckers don't know me. I slapped the shit out of him. Whoa, yeah. Cognitive distortion? What happened? You know what I'm saying? Openness. Now, of course, we don't want to run around being open to every single human, but when it comes to having a circle of candor, be open. How's everything going? Cool? As a defiant tear rolls down your eye. Cool? My circle of candor, shit, they getting it. They getting it real. Mm-hmm. So, and now let's talk about truth. And it says accuracy of reveal, meaning subjective reality or objective reality. You know the difference, right? Kaja, you know the difference, right? Mm-hmm. How close to objective reality can you get versus subjective? Mm-hmm. Huh?
Caitlin Clark in the Olympics.
Right. Right. Caitlin Clark in the Olympics.
Subjective versus objective.
Subjective versus objective. A lot of couch coaches think they know what they're talking about. That's subjective. So what is your accuracy of reveal? What is your accuracy? Well, this is why me and my man broke up. He did this, he did that, he did that, he did that, he did that, he did that. So you didn't do nothing. You didn't do nothing? I didn't do nothing. Okay. All right. Accuracy of reveal. There's 3 sides to every story. Remember that. Judging folks. Judging folks is the quickest way to handcuff you. Because when you judge others, it allows, your subconscious mind prevents you from putting yourself out there in the world because you involuntarily don't feel like you're going to be judged. That's just how your brain works. So that's why you got to stop with the judgment.
That's real. That's super real.
Yeah. And we're going through this right now as a team at my company, speaking candidly. And it's not a pretty process. It ain't. The show ain't pretty. It's a lot of, not fair, not my fault. I didn't do it. It's you did it. Because we're coughing up. We're coughing up the breach that we had in our company. We're coughing it up. So now we're at a stage where we're starting to talk freely with each other and real and candid with each other. And that ain't it. This is it. And it's stirring up some emotions because people are feeling attacked. And it's good. It's good. Let's cough this shit out. But it starts with the team that sees reality the best wins. You gotta, whoever sees the reality, not this reality, not in my mind. In my mind, I think, not it. Shit ain't gonna work for you. So you have to be committed to say what's true for you. You have to be committed to it. Understanding how your brain and your subconscious mind, your mind works, you have an amazing, amazing machine inside your head.
That's true.
So, like we talked about last week, your brain does not respond well when you're a bullshitter. It can't even handle it. That's why if you lying, you scratching and itching and looking away because your body literally is having a reaction to you lying. So when you move in with congruence, meaning you're always trying to say what's true for you, you're always in a space where you are in your circle of truth, you're a stronger human. You're a stronger person. So committing to that already levels you up as a human. I commit to being what's true for me. Oh, it was cool. It was cool. So imagine this. Imagine this. You lie all the time. And you say you're doing way better than you are all the time. Anytime somebody comes up to you. Years of doing it. You think your body's gotten adjusted to the bullshit that you're saying to people? Now think about this. The day you decide to get serious, and now you got goals, and you want to do big things, what did you train your brain? You trained your brain to be a bullshitter. You've already got the high of telling people you're doing big things, so you can't even activate yourself to go after nothing because you've been lying this whole time.
Wow, tell the truth.
Think about that. So some people are like, I can't understand why my shit ain't work. It's because you've been lying to people and yourself for so long that when it's time for you to get serious, your body ain't activating because you trained it that way. So imagine if every word comes out of your mouth is truth or your attempted truth. You're going to make it right. Attempted truth. If something happened, damn, I apologize. I got to make that right. You're moving in integrity, and you do that for years. 10 years, 15 years of doing that. And one day you say, man, fuck that. I'm going to be a millionaire. What do you think your body's going to do in response to that? Oh, word? Let's go then. Okay. And it's going to do everything in its power to support you in that thought. Because you trained it that way. So that's why this is way more important in this slide than you think. Way more important. Way more important.
One, it's really challenging to tell yourself the truth about yourself. I'll speak for me. It's really challenging to tell myself the truth about myself. A lot of that I didn't have a frame of reference for, so I would watch other people and see how they were able to admit to things, especially Mashama. Like, he would be like, that was my bad, I didn't do the thing. And I was like, oh, shit, okay. Nothing happened. Like, he didn't die, right? I really had to be intentional about finding examples of not to do it, but like that you can do it and not die. so, and I don't know, because I have historically been very protective of me, right, and very concealed, unless I was in like super, super deep like circle of trust. And even in that, it can be really, really challenging, because I had a story that people didn't really want to know. Like, it don't really matter. The value of like speaking candidly is something that is unfolding to me like over time. Yeah, it's unfolding over time, and I think it's still something that I have to really, really work at, because I'm always pushing against, this is going to end poorly. This is going to end poorly for me. Now, so when I'm in certain settings where, to me, the stakes are high, or I'm in a setting where I feel like this is not a space where candor is valued, and it's a really concealed space. And so for me to step out there is for me to like really take some risk. So it's just like working with this to be candid, first to myself, because press secretary, like, I have a lot of language to distance myself from what's true and like what's mine. And so you read a lot, if you value reading and learning, you pick up a lot of things that can basically take you away from responsibility, in my experience. And so this has had very little to do with how much I was learning, but really how vulnerable I was willing to be, and it's just a different muscle. And so just like, I'm aware of when I feel like it's too risky for me to do it. I don't always nail it, but I'm more aware now of when I'm telling myself that if I do this, I'm risking something. But it's not. It's fucking crazy.
So I'll say, so let's start with this. You're amongst many that feel the same way. 2, it is not your fault that you got here. It's not your fault. You guys see that picture of the first integrated high school, and that one black woman sitting in the chair, and you had all those like Fonzarelli looking white dudes around her, and she's sitting there in that eyes looked out like, man, I wish you would. I don't give a fuck what you say. I'm solid who I am. But you can see her completely closed off. You can see it in the picture. She has a mental brick wall around her. Right? Is it time to be open? No, but that has passed on to us. It's passed on to you, culturally in our society. So it ain't like you're talking about a muscle. It is a muscle that we definitely have to work through. Now, here is the thing, though. This is the dope part about it. You just start trying. You just start. You just start. Hey, I fucked up. Or this. Or I feel like this is where I am right now. This is what I got going on. This is my bank account. This is what's this. That's what happened. Oh shit, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Matter of fact, I got some great advice. Somebody can help me now. Start trying it, and it's a small muscle. And it could take years, but start trying. You know, and have you guys ever had to fire somebody? Anybody have to fire somebody? Bring them in a room and let them go?
It's difficult.
Not an easy thing to do, right? In the movie Moneyball, there was he hired the guy and he had to bring a baseball player in and tell him he got cut. And he went all around the world and made all these stories and went to the left and to the right and to the right. And the main character was like, hold on, let me show you how to do this. Hey, Captain, we moving in another direction. And the player was like, okay. He's like, why'd you do that? Man, stop bullshitting people. Just say it what it is. And you'll be surprised that wall of fear that you had that prevented you from being candid and being honest with yourself is just imaginary. Give me the real.
Let me add a little something to this one. I love being candid. That's my brand. But it's for me, more than people realized. Everything Court said, I have nothing to add. Only thing I want to add is, if you want to be a leader or an entrepreneur, either one, same thing. You have to practice risk. Mm-hmm. You have to practice risk. I ride a motorcycle. You say, why do you ride a motorcycle? Makes any sense? I need to keep a certain degree of risk in my life. The safe game will get me on the opposite side of the candy game. Then I'm playing the PC game, trying to be politically correct and speak to people. And now I'm caught up in a web that I can't get myself out of, right? Then I got to a point where, I started realizing there's 8 billion people on this earth. So what if I lose you? I could lose 1,000 in my lifetime. It's not even water off my back. It's like whatever, I lost you, so whatever, right? I even have to, my old rule, which is the way I deal with racism is I fuck with those who fuck with me, and I don't fuck with those who don't, right? There's so many people on this earth. I don't need you. So now when I'm sitting in front of you talking to you, you're like, I'm never gonna speak to you again. All right, that's a choice. I got options. I got 7,999,000 people waiting for me to make friends with. Goodbye, right? Because the reality is that we're all going to die, so nothing's permanent, right? The only thing becomes permanent is our perception. Like, oh, it's going to be here forever. No, it's not. That's just some story we're telling ourselves, right? Like, by default, everybody in this room could be close to our last day, or we can grow apart because of just challenges. You got 5 kids now, and you're running back and forth to colleges, and I'm over here now working in some new company, and I don't see you the same, right? So I'm just saying is that you learn that it's really like shifting those stories and realize how many fearful based stories you've built over the years. And losing somebody is not, I love being by myself. If nobody wants to play with me that weekend, I'm good. I can be by myself, right? As opposed to some people still live from the trauma of the weekend when all their friends say, I'm not going to play with you. And they were by themselves and they feel like that's traumatic. Go to a movie by yourselves. You realize this is kind of cool. Nobody's talking. Nobody's asking me no dumb-ass questions. And I get a chance to focus on the movie I want to watch, right? Or go hiking by yourself. But practicing risk helps you then realize that a lot of those fears are drummed up. When I jumped out of the plane, once I got to the ground, it took me about a year to go, oh, that's not that bad. to be here. You know, it seems like, why the fuck did I do that again? Right? But once I like went over it over and over, I was like, yo, but I did that shit. That's the only reason I did it is because I practice risk, right? I don't live a safe, like that's why I hate the safe-based culture, because they don't talk candidly. They talk, that's what the liberals do. They talk around and they, I don't want to offend you. And I'm like, I'm going to offend you. You're trash. And then that allows us, like I said, when the guy got fired, when Mashama fired two guys back, I walked in the room and was like, say, man, listen, we probably need to talk to you. Mashama said, hold on. Bro, you know what it is. It's over. Goodbye. That's how he fired him. You know what it is. It's over. Goodbye. I said, well, shit, okay. But that's that candidness that, and it didn't. Well, if we would have talked and started getting into an argument, then we told him it was over, it could have turned into a shooting. You know what I mean? So it's like we create more noise and weight in our life by avoiding this. And if you're a group, that weight can get so heavy that the group doesn't exist anymore. So I'm just, fuck it.
Yeah, beautiful. Next slide.
I love this one. God, I love this.
Eliminate gossip. I commit to ending gossip, talking directly with people whom I have a concern. Gossip creates alliances, and alliances take a toll on the effectiveness of the team. It's defined as a statement about another made by another with negative intent, or a statement the speaker wouldn't be willing to share if that person were in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And then listening to gossip is just as bad as the gossiper.
Hey, stop it. Stop it. It creates a toxic culture wherever you are. And yes, we grew up with that. And yes, our mamas and sisters and cousins and all of them gathered around and had a good old time gossiping. It is what it was. But as a leader and an entrepreneur, don't do that shit.
Come on.
Stop it. Because what will end up happening is it will erode your reputation. Nobody's gonna fuck with you. So stop it. Don't do that shit. That's a integrity statement that you have with yourself to say, hold on, if somebody's gossiping to you, have you talked to that person yet? Maybe you should talk to that person. People don't like gossiping around me. Have you talked to that person? Maybe you should holler at them. What did you do? Because I don't want to be involved in that shit. Because my reputation, my reputation is on the line. I don't want to be known as a person like, what's the latest? Or I don't want to be known as a weak man. You know what a weak man is? It's somebody who is afraid to say some shit to your face, but go off and be like, man, that Yabasua, man, he get on my nerves. You see that shit, man? Like, he just up here flossing his hairline on for everybody. Everybody, us 45-year-olds is losing our shit, and he getting his tight hairline. Man, fuck that dude, man. Like, hey, Yabasua, what's up, my dude? Yeah, hey, give me some. You a weak man. You're a liar. You're lying to yourself, and your integrity erodes.
I hate you so
I ain't shaking your hand if I don't like you. What's up? Might do that. We ain't cool. Fuck I look like? Or what if the person standing next to me knows that me and you ain't cool? And I go, hey, what's up, man? Yeah. He's going to look at me like, what the fuck? You just said that. Integrity. Reputation. So you got to commit to end it. You got to commit to end it. If you're a leader, it's scary to be led by a person who gossips. It's scary to be led by a person who gossips. Now, if you are consulting with somebody, hey, I need some advice, man. What's going on? Well, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. What would you do? What would you do? How would you handle this? In your circle of candor, and you having conversations within your circle of candor, then that's different if they're giving you game on how to get better or how to make a decision. But that's in your small circle of candor. And it's done out of a place of growth and love. It's not just to talk shit. Next.
Let me just,
Go ahead.
I'm trying, bruh.
Go ahead.
Can I just throw another layer of thought?
Yep.
This is going to be on some biblical type level shit. So your gossiping and your judgment was Stoics trying to be like Jesus. So let me tell you where I'm going with this. When you gossip, do you know that you train your brain to think at a lower level? Okay. If I tell, this happens on the news, I say, we just saw that some entertainers, Shaquille O'Neal, was seen doing this. What you're missing is context. There's no context. So when it comes time for you to run your own business, you'll start making decisions about the public at that frequency. You say, oh, people love this because, and your response to why people are going to love your product, your idea, it's going to be the same level of your gossiping. What you realize that you got to learn how to ask that next level question to see what's really going on behind the scenes. And you discover what you see is not what you see. Believe nothing that you see, or believe nothing that you hear, and little that you see. Mm-hmm. So a lot of times gossiping starts to make unrealistic things real because you capture me at an emotional point and you train my brain to see the world through gossip, which means you don't see the world. And matter of fact, the person who's gossiping to you is shaping and manipulating you on how you see the world that does not even exist. So every time you gossiping, the people who are engaging in gossiping are shrinking their perception of reality. That's when it's time for you to engage reality, you're already shrunk. So now when you go to deal with like design products and okay, for example, let's say if you see a man, I'll make something really strong. Let's say you go to a strip club, you see somebody with a gun, they shooting money in the air. What does that tell you about that person? I can see what it sees because I ask questions. Gossiping will tell you, oh, he out there, he crazy, whatever. It tells you that man loves status. So if you sell him something, make sure you pay attention to status. Mm-hmm. If your branding doesn't say status, you miss that customer, right? But when you gossiping, you might say, oh, he's immoral, or he's stupid, or he don't take care of his children, or he's cheating on his girlfriend, or he liked them hoes. Or you might say any of those kind of concepts. You're gossiping, the news does it to you all the time. Oh, this person did this, and this happened. That's gossiping. If you ask questions, you'll find, oh, this is why this happened. This is why that happens. So now when you decide to design something to put in the market, you understand how human beings really move as opposed to the way gossip has shaped. The whole black and white relation is based upon gossip. Mm-hmm. Many of us have never experienced police officers at a certain level, white folks at a certain level, white systems at a certain level, systemic racism. I'm not saying they don't exist. But gossip have changed their meaning and changed their impact. So at the end of the day, a lot of the colors that we see around us is gossip. Yeah. So gossip is so fucking deadly to our ability to analyze the surrounding world and how we move in the world that it as soon as you hear gossip, it should inspire you to ask questions. Like if Court says, I talked to Nana and he pissed me off. Your brain should be like, oh, what did Nana do? Your brain should be like, why'd you get mad? Like you gotta tear that apart. You gotta tear it apart so much to the point that you gotta realize that this person is really just painting their reality to you. They're not giving you reality. And if you keep listening to all this gossip, before you know it, you can't see. It becomes your blinders. You can't see the world.
Mm. Yeah, I think I just don't want y'all to miss that dope ass point. Gossip is someone giving you their subjective reality, and you're passing subjective reality on down the line. It starts flawed off top.
It's crazy.
So if it starts with flaws, then why are you listening to it or engaging in it? That's real shit. Next slide.
Uphold integrity. I commit to having integrity. Integrity defined as wholeness, energy management, unbroken flow of energy, congruence, matching what's experienced to what's expressed, alignment, purpose, and direction.
Yep.
When you make an agreement, stick to it. No such thing as a small breach of integrity.
That's called.
Integrity starts with self. If you can't keep an agreement with yourself, how will you keep an agreement with someone else?
You should call this was standing on business.
I know. You
what it should really
you see how this is tied to being candid, and how it's tied to being honest with yourself. If you can't keep an agreement with yourself, how can you keep agreement with someone else? You can't.
Come on, bro.
You can't. That's why we had a talk a while ago. We said you got to practice excellence, because when you get into an environment where you have to be excellent, it's not a stretch for you. You got to practice integrity. So when you get into an environment where integrity is required of you, it's not a stretch. You could do it. Hey, I got this. Okay, yep. It's tough, but I could do it. So you got to start keeping agreements with yourself. We ain't going to be perfect. Know that. Let's throw that perfection shit out the window. But if you move in a space of integrity,
Come on, bro.
then what that can allow you to do is when it's time for you to make an agreement with yourself, you're fully congruent and committed to making it happen. Got to. That's what entrepreneurship is about, really. We are black swans. We making something out of nothing. Like Tupac said, we making $1 out of 15 cents. Like, that's a great margin. That's a great margin.
Man.
So we making magic. We roses in the concrete. So you know how you make that magic? It starts internally with your internal agreements with yourself. I commit to making this happen. So your resources come in, all your resources, ideas, because you are so used to being in integrity with yourself that when you decide to take an action, you own. And when other people hear, hey, I want to be a part of that. Cause you're doing something, whenever you're doing it, let me know, because I want to be a part of that. Why? Because you ain't started a business ever, but your integrity has done the marketing and branding for you. When I first started Court Smith,
engage this one. This is important. Engage him.
yeah, when I
Raise
first
your
started,
hands.
when I first decided to start Court Smith, I got 2 emails from big companies telling me not to start it. Wait, what? I changed my LinkedIn and I said, this is what I'm doing. And I got 2 emails. One said, hey, check this out. I'll give you $100,000 to not start your company. And you can just work for our company and give us your ideas.
Wow.
Fuck no. I said, how about you invest that into the company that I'm about to start? What's wrong with that? Mm-hmm. And the other one was this long email from a CEO of another mid-sized company, not small. Because when I decide to do something, it's done. And I'm coming for y'all at some point. Kaja.
So 2 points. I wanted a question and then just a point of experience. I'll start with the point of experience first. I notice this a lot with small to mid businesses and with entrepreneurs. It's almost like people hide the lack of this in entrepreneurship because no one can really refute you when you say, I'm a solopreneur, or, it's a small business. We don't have systems. But to me, you set your customer's expectation. If you're a solopreneur and you can't answer emails for 10 days, it's nothing to set an auto response that says, hey, thanks for reaching out. Please expect a response in 10 working days. Instead of, hey, here's a contact me form, and you send it and it goes into a black hole, right? So I think sometimes people use entrepreneur as an excuse
Come on.
just to underperform. The other thing is
True that.
the third bullet point on here. This is how I felt when I started my podcast, because I felt like I said there's a production schedule and there's going to be a production schedule. And I got told it was rigid. Versus in my mind, no, we set a production schedule. So yeah, we can explore all these other things, but if it's going to take us off the schedule, I'm not doing that. And if it closes optionality, oh well, because if we don't have at the bare minimum a schedule, then we just out here. I don't like to work like that. Like we need some structure, or it's just, haphazard. We throw it out when we get ready. And I think that's part of the reason that I've been able to grow the podcast, is because people know what to expect. They know when it's coming. It's consistent. And I might be scrambling in the background, but you're not going to see that because I'm going to give a consistent output.
Bet. So first half of that, bet. That is, we do not subsidize mediocrity. You know what I say to people like that? So I don't care. I don't care. So fix the shit. So find a way. So what? Because entrepreneurship, the customer does not care. It's not my job to hear that story. I don't want to hear that. So we can't subsidize mediocre businesses. Guess what? It's okay to make a mistake in a company or to have blind spots in your company. But if you have a great feedback loop, you can fix that. And you can say, hey, customer, you know what? That's a great point. My apologies. I overlooked it. This is what I can do to fix it. And you come up with a strategy for next time. But that ain't no excuse. They may have lost you. So that learning curve has to happen on the next customer. So say it black too, like your big sister. So don't care. And on the second piece, it's true. Like we say this at our company sometimes too, is yes, you have to have systems and processes in place. Absolutely. And you got to go hard at making sure that those systems and processes are in place, are working. But at the end of the day, you're on this side of the curtain. The thing that has to happen is your delivery. The customer may not see on the back end of that curtain. Sometimes y'all scramble. People on the ground, fail. Doesn't matter. You got to deliver to that customer. So sometimes you got to shake out of that rigidity to make it happen. This class, have we ever missed a class? Ever? Has he ever missed a class? Has the setup ever not been there? Is our life that fucking straight up, rigid, black and white, that is just so smooth that it happens like this? Hell no. We two entrepreneurs. This man is an architect of this and this setup and everything. So shit will sometimes happen. Oh shit, the sound's not working. Well, try this, do this. But hey, how you guys doing? We back on. So you do have to be able to pivot and run audibles. But the customer does not care about none of that shit. So if you go to a restaurant and it's a medium to high end restaurant and it's black owned and you're like, well, let's try this out to get these people give some business. And you're like, hold on, let me go wash my hands. And you walk in the bathroom and there's piles of doo-doo in the toilet and it's sick, it's nasty everywhere. Are you going to go back and sit down and be like, I can't wait to eat this scrumptious meal? You lost me. I can't do it. No, but like the janitorial service, they're sick, and then the other ones upcharge me. They cost too much. They'll be here tomorrow. Man, I'm out. Nobody. So remember that integrity starts within.
Did you guys really get this? I mean, like, this is really serious. Like, do you move in all spaces in your personal life with integrity? Because once you're inconsistent, it's this was the first lesson I learned from businessmen before me. Like, they didn't sign contracts, they shook hands. If they shook a hand, it's done. Now I hear people changing their mind based upon excuses, other priorities, boredom. I don't like it no more. It's hard. Whatever new story you want to come up with. Distraction of somebody new to your life. Squirrel, you just change attention like this fast. Like, integrity. When you move with integrity, you're a different human being. Do you guys get this? Or is this, I don't want to talk like, this is one of the ones, if you don't get this, like, everything you're doing will follow. This is at the core of everything you're doing. This is your brand. You don't have a brand if you have none of this. Meaning that you have no reputation. No one gives a fuck about you. You're not making no money. No one trusts you. Like, nothing happens without integrity. It ain't all your feelings, all your emotions, all of, I want to be free with the world. Free with the world's broke. Like, do you have integrity? Do you understand integrity? Do you realize that Oakland is known for fucking white lies and small and fake promises? Like, I've been in Oakland doing business for a long time. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Nobody shows up. Most time people, it's like that's a 25% chance you're gonna show up. And then Oakland looks around like, why are we so broke? Y'all don't have no fucking integrity. Do y'all really get this? Like, a lot of your lives right now are gonna die poor because you lacked integrity. You just never stuck with nothing. Like, this is cold.
True story. Next slide. 7. Ooh, now we changing the game up a little bit.
Wow.
Generate appreciation. Sensitive awareness. Simply paying attention and being present in the moment, making fine distinctions with the people and things. Generating appreciation starts with being able to receive appreciation. What are you appreciative for? Be cautious of refusing to accept appreciation. I think I do this sometimes.
Sorry, that was my notes.
Don't brush it off. Embrace it, but stay humble.
Appreciation. I'm good at appreciating, not still working on receiving it. Good at so the world, especially as entrepreneurs, we're moving, going, working, figuring it out, dealing with situations, fighting fires, planning, strategizing, putting things in place, risking things, spending money, trying to spend time with our family, spending time with family, all those things at the same time. And a lot of times our lives can get planned out and mapped out to where you're in this rhythm and you stop, you don't look up to say, hey, I appreciate you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Like, stopping to appreciating life is free. Appreciating people around you is free. And it can fill you up with a lot. I got a text from Tennille last week. Man, I almost start crying. Because it was just, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Man, I was like, fuck that. Like, sometimes you got to stop and make that appreciation happen for yourself. I love, it's a great, beautiful day today. Have you stared at the people that you love? Just really looked at them? Have you told them that you appreciate them? There's somebody might be in your life right now that's hustling for you, making sure you're taken care of, making sure that they can do their best to make sure that they support you in certain ways. When was the last time you I appreciate everything you do? your coworkers, the people who help you build your business. I appreciate you guys. You here? We a team. Like, have you thought for 1 second to say, you know what? I get to breathe again today. I get to breathe again today. I get to walk today. I get to run if I want to. I got people that love me, that I love back. I got a car. There's so much to be appreciative for as we're going on this journey. We have to be committed to being appreciative folks. Here's the opposite. Have you ever been around somebody who there was nothing you can do, nothing you can give them to make them happy? Nothing. They move like the world owed them everything. And they wasn't impressed by nothing. And everything you gave them or that they got, they act like it was owed to them. Those people are miserable. And there's nothing that can be given to them to equalize their emotions to get them to appreciation. So first you steer clear from those type of people. But you don't be that kind of person. Let that not be you. On the flip side, learn to receive. Learn to receive. Thank you. Man, I appreciate that. The fact that you thought about that. Thank you. Learn to receive. Not, that shit ain't nothing. That wasn't nothing. That's my thing. That was my go-to. Man, I ain't doing it. I still got a long way to go, cuz don't even trip. It's like, so you're blocking the people's ability to appreciate you. Mm-hmm. Next slide.
Excel in your zone of genius. I commit to expressing my full magnificence and to supporting and inspiring others to fully express their creativity and live in their zone of genius. Okay. 4 zones of genius. Incompetence. What areas do others do better than you? Competence. What work do you do that others can do just as well or better? Excellence. What do you do better than everyone else? Genius. Which aspects generate the highest ratio of positive results compared to time spent? What work do you so love doing that it doesn't seem like work?
Okay. So, zone of genius has to be a commitment. The goal over time is to compound interest yourself into a place where you're locked in doing what you love the most and what you have the most impact doing. And you're supposed to know yourself well enough to know what you're not good at and find people where that's their zone of genius. That's what they're good at, and build teams around zones of genius. That is the strategy. You don't want to be caught up in the space of, I got to do everything and I'm going to do everything for 20 years. Mm-hmm. That's where a lot of businesses get stuck. I'm not good at that part. Mm-hmm. I'm good at this part. Matter of fact, can't nobody fuck with me over here. I will find somebody who's like that there, and we can form Voltron and whoop their ass. That's my only way of saying it. Sorry. Voltron is a cartoon that people join forces. Anyway. Like, that is the goal as you build your team, as you build your business, that is the goal. Now, at the very beginning, there's going to be, it's like the book E-Myth. You have to do lots of things, but you have to, over time, extract yourself out of those things and find people who can do it. Well, I don't got the money to do it. How much you paying yourself? Are you willing to sacrifice some of your own income? Some of y'all don't want to do that. Sell that fucking car. Get out of that big ass house in the beginning at this stage. Bring your finances down by half and then take some of that bread and pay somebody that's their zone of genius. Watch what happens. 2 years from now, y'all, you eating better. Instead of taking that excess money, do it again. Do it again. Do it again. Keep doing it. Now you're able to multiply yourself in ways to where the synergy effect that happens with those teams that's what creates the black swan in your business. You cannot do it by yourself. You cannot. You can be the smartest person on the planet and be the poorest person on the planet, because success in business comes from the power of the people, not you. So you stay in your pocket. Now you may not start there, but the goal is to get to a space where that's where you're generating. That's what you're doing. If you're even scaling even higher and you want to be a leader, an entrepreneur, then you ain't even doing you may change in what you're doing. I don't get to design that much no more. I'm an artist by nature. That's how I got into doing all this shit. But the role that I'm in now, I design 10%. 10%. But I found a new love. Leadership, scaling, building, helping people grow. So this is where we're gonna leave off, but this is where you gotta grow into, understanding this slide right here, and then we'll continue next week. All right, y'all.
Hey, don't change that slide either. That slide is fire. This is a strong business concept. Can I explain to you guys? Let me share with you how this can show up before I get to my slides. Say you're at a party and somebody comes to you and says, hey, listen, you never invested in stocks and bonds before. And somebody goes, you know what stock you should invest in? And you start to pull out your phone and make that payment. You just made a mistake. That's not your circle of genius. It's called we call it circle of genius, excelling your zone of genius. When you're running a business or you're growing a business, stay in your zone of genius. Once you start to dibble and dabble in other areas that you think that your intelligence can transfer to, there's so much you cannot see. If you decide, okay, it's hard for anybody to run more than one business. Most people can't run one business well. Now you're talking about running 2 businesses well, 3 businesses well. That's very freaking difficult. But what happens is, like, let's say if somebody says, no, you want to be a mayor? I'm going to probably say no. Unless I want that as a career, because when I get in that office, I'm going to probably do more damage because I'm outside of my zone of genius. Like, there's no such thing as your knowledge is transferable. It doesn't work that way. And it's so easy. That's why when you open up multiple businesses, you think, oh, because I ran this business, and so I'm retired now, I sold my business, I'm about to open another business, and it's nothing like your zone of genius. So, for example, if Court uncle came to him and said, hey, listen, Court, why don't you sell, I'm making like $10 million a year over here in the auto business. I'm getting old. I sell you this business right now for $5 million. I'm doing $10 million a year. I'm giving it to you, really, right? If he wants to do that, that means that he needs to have a grace period to learn. Otherwise, he's not equipped, no matter how well he did with this other business. A lot of CEOs buy businesses and lose them because they think because they're a CEO over here, it's going to transfer to a business over there. Mm-hmm. So If you don't play the stock and bond game, stop listening to commercial artists who tell you all you need to do is. Anybody tells you all you need to do is, there's a rule in business that says that you increase your mistakes by a large percentage when you make decisions in emotional spaces. And often when somebody throws money at you and then offers you the ability to do something, they're exploiting your emotions, right? You gotta learn shit. Like, you gotta learn. Like, if you want to switch over, if you want to start investing your money, or if you want to, you go buy a car. Anytime you spend over $1,000, you need to have more than just common sense. It's just, if you invest in more than $1,000, more than common sense. And be aware that if you're not within your zone of genius, never get so, don't let your ego take over and tell you that you know enough, or you're smart, or you've been here before. It has zero value to you. Like, if somebody came to court tomorrow and said, hey man, construction workers need uniforms too. If he takes on that job and he pours, let's say he invests $1 million into it, I'd be like, bro, you just almost damn near probably gonna throw $1 million away. You gotta cross your fingers at this. You're playing the game of luck. Because if it all goes bad, who was that? It was, I think it was Westinghouse or GE decided to invest in real estate, and they wanted to invest in land development, and they dropped $500 million. And guess what happened to that $500 million? They lost $500 million. And it's like, because you don't know anything about real estate. Why are you build products direct to consumers, right? You build products. That's real estate. So some of you are gonna make money by, oh, I'm gonna get into real estate. Then take hella classes and go work for somebody in real estate. But don't assume because you did good with selling products or a nonprofit, you're gonna switch over to this other world. I remember one class I said, I think it was a year ago, I said, or 2 years ago, I said, nonprofit businesses are weaker than for-profit businesses. And a nonprofit person called me and she was angry. She goes, I don't see the difference. First of all, you can't see the difference because you're not within your zone of genius. Being that I have to service both sides, they're extremely different because one has more friction than the other, which produces a whole bunch of different characteristics. But in her brain, she thought her professionalism would work in any category. It doesn't. It just doesn't. Let me show you one more. You hire somebody, okay, so let's say you're a small company, under 50 people. And somebody says, hey, no, I got marketing background. I work for Apple. I work for Cisco. I work for Macy's. So I want to come in and lead your marketing department. You're about to make a big mistake. You say, what do you mean? Now they have this experience. What you're missing is you can't see their circle of expertise. You can't see it. Because when they worked at Apple, they worked on one thing, basically the way Apple does it, and you just copy and paste that. Then you went to Cisco, and you copy and paste their methodology. Then you went to Macy's, you copy and paste their methodology, but you're in a world where you deal with the raw science of marketing. And so you bring them in, and you give them a raw case, you don't realize that you just put them in a space where they can't handle it because they're outside their circle of genius. They're good at a big corporation where they have all these buffers around them. But now they have to own the whole experience and see the whole project and psychologically unlock the whole project and realize they have zero of those skills because they went from college to these big corporate jobs to now being in a position where they have direct engagement. So that's why when I'm at a club, somebody goes, yeah, I got 20 years of marketing. And they put me in front of them, I think, that means nothing to me. Nothing. I'm not even closely intimidated by you because it's different than somebody who says, I've been running a company 20 years of marketing. I expect a different conversation than I've been working in marketing for 20 years. Because once you understand the zone of genius, you realize that people are overstating their zone of genius all the time. So when you walking around, a lot of you guys are intimidated in certain rooms and can't speak or choking up on what you have to say because, I'm a president of a university. Yeah, but they never had a job, bro. Never had a job. They've never been in the real world before. They've been buffered in this politically correct environment for so damn long. They're puppies in a wolf world. So you're over there, oh, he's the president of marketing for this university, and you're scared to speak, and you realize he's all theory, dog. Tell him one story of reality, he'd be like, what? That's fascinating. I would have thought they would have just did A, B, and C. I know you in the world, well, if I do A, they should do B. That's the world you teach. You've never been out in this real world where if you don't work, you don't eat. So the measurement of how to see people, once you can see your own zone of genius, you can see people so much better. And when you're moving amongst the public, you realize who when the press secretary is talking to you, this is your glasses to see the press secretary. Because once you really learn how to hear the zone of genius, you realize, oh, you're just talking loud but saying nothing. But if you constantly lie to yourself on who you are, this is why it's so easy to be lied to. You hear what I just said? If you're always lying to yourself all the time, that's why it's so easy to be lied to. The reason, for the last 18 years, I've had people say, Nana, how is it that you keep avoiding all these wolves and snakes in the grass? And I say, because I see them. Once you learn to see people, you realize, but that's because you have to first develop a degree of self-honesty. And don't get me wrong, your press secretary is one day going to take off on you, be like, yeah, I'm this. And then you'll get home and be like, really, dog? You really this? Mm-hmm. You got to have that hardcore conversation of, this is really where I'm at. And if I'm losing in this game, I'm trash. Not because this other person trying to conquer me, I'm trash. Or I don't have this certain skill. And the more you have that degree of honesty, the more you start to be able to see other people when somebody will tell you, I'm doing this, and this, and you look at economically how they're showing up and go like, okay, you're full of shit. Or you look at what bothers them. They'll say something like, man, that shit costs like $40. Okay, let's cut this conversation short. You're bullshit. But you won't know that unless you stop bullshitting yourself. I saw you guys watched the Stacks documentary on HBO? That shit was fire, right? Shit hella fire. One of the biggest lessons from the Stack, well, it's two big lessons I want to share with you guys. So if you guys watch it, but it's just two dope ass lessons. One, so the first leader of Stacks was a brother and sister, white brother and sister, country singers. Good cat. And he got in a partnership with Capitol. Capitol had him sign his contract, burned the shit out of him. Ended up taking all of his music, everything. But you know how they got tricked and how they got smacked up and why the white boy took the other white boy's money? Not the racism, but why the white boy took the other white boy's money? One white boy was playing art while the other white boy was playing business. Let me say this again. One white boy was talking about culture, family, creativity, music, art. Other white boy was like, profit. And what happened was he stepped outside of his zone of genius by dealing with a businessman. I'm an artist. I'm running Capitol, so I think I'm a businessman. No, you're an artist who happens to have the most money, who happens to be in front of everybody else, so you can call yourself the boss, but you ain't a business person. And so we'll get to it in a second. So then he stepped into the arena with business people from Capitol, who's about making that money. They don't care about all them more. I don't give a shit about none of them artist shits. And when Capitol sold their portfolio to CBS, they call Stacks up and say, oh yeah, all them hits you just made, get those over real quick. I go send those to CBS. He said, do we get paid for that? No. You should have read your contract. But, hey man, I'm here to make profit. I don't really care about your family, Memphis, Otis Redding dying in the plane. That shit don't matter to me. Send that shit over real quick. I want to make this cash. Right? A lot of times, think about this, black people, we have trauma where the game was being played unfair, where rugs were snatched from underneath our feet, right? So it also makes current day competition traumatic for us. Extremely traumatic for you, right? So in your brain you go, well, if he takes me for this, he came for me, this reminds me of slavery, the trauma kicks in, we get emotional, and we can't see the next play. But really what really happened was you were outside your circle of genius. I'm going to pause there because I'm going to come back to this. Got a question real quick? Oh, wait, get your microphone real quick. There you go, here you go.
It was touching bases on the question I asked you last week.
Okay.
What the difference was between a business person and an entrepreneur person.
Well, when I say, okay, so when I say playing business is that, so entrepreneur in the context is a creator, builder, right? A business person who understands the system that we use to create and build, how to work within that system, right? So you could be a business person, not an entrepreneur, right? A lot of times, and some entrepreneurs can be talented in carving the foundation and initiating and designing something like a figurehead, but sometimes they can be kind of weak in business and some of the details in business. I mean, they may not understand all the laws, may not understand all the spreadsheet work and all the finance work, right? Even though as an entrepreneur, I would say a healthy entrepreneur needs to have some degree of ownership to that, right? But an entrepreneur often is the person who's creating ground, but they kind of a general in all the skills that are within business. Where business people are people who can live within the culture. Because when an entrepreneur creates something, he creates a business, right? Which is a culture. It's like, what's the difference between a team owner and a basketball player, right? A basketball player knows how to function. He can become a coach. He can become a GM even, right? But there's a different skill set for the person who's actually carving grounds to actually buy a team, own a team, grow the brand around the team, make people think that basketball is just as real as a truck, when basketball is really just make believe. I created a make believe reality that you think is so real that if you go back 200 years ago, it didn't even exist. I made that shit up. And I'm making billions off some shit I made up that you're willing to fight, die, commit, shoot somebody, get in your car, drive fast, leave your woman behind, drop babies all over the city, and it doesn't even exist. I made this shit up. So that's an entrepreneur really realized I created a value system that you live by that never existed. Like entrepreneurs create language that the rest of us are just using. Right. And we're checking going, oh, you didn't say this word right. Entrepreneur will say the word wrong, and that becomes a new word. You know what? It's not called artificial intelligence. It's called Apple intelligence. That was hella tight to me. I was like, oh, y'all gonna flex your business muscles, right? They literally took a word that everybody's using AI and go, yeah, y'all use AI, but we use Apple AI, which just means Apple intelligence. Did you just rechange the word? That's the power of entrepreneurs. We're shaping language, shaping culture. So huge difference. So let me go to this other story that was told by right on, man. Thank you, fam. Let me go to this other story that was told by in the documentary. He said, so later on, the company came back because a black businessman took over Stacks, and he had business values. And at one point, the culture ran up against him. It's like, oh, we don't like the way it feels, and we feel like we should be able to, like, we're losing the culture. It's not the same thing. He's like, I don't really give a shit. You got 3 months to get this shit together. I need a song put out. I need this many songs per day. It was like 10 songs a day. Some crazy ass number of music they was pumping out that was like unheard of, right? And he's like, just pump it out. We're gonna flood the market. He was thinking about the business side, right? And he did a lot. When you watch, he did so many business remarkable things. He moved like an entrepreneur. Now, mind you, he got caught by two things. One was didn't control the carriage, and 3 was if you go back before the 90s, white folks really controlled the middle market. And if you control that middle market, banking, distribution, logistics, if somebody who controls that can just destroy you back in the days, right? Today, internet has kind of allowed us to destroy the middleman, where you have direct access to customers, direct access to manufacturers, and so forth and so on. But anyway, but one thing he said, his father worked as a gardener for the Rockefellers. This is so much game. He said, and somehow he would go visit his father, and finally one of the Rockefellers decided to give the dude who's running Stacks now, give him this one little small conversation. He said, always know this. Listen to what I'm about to say here. Always know this. When you build something, you're building something on somebody else's real estate. You don't own that industry. And when that person feels that you're building something you're invading their space, they will either buy you, copy you, or destroy you. Okay, I know y'all gonna get this. I'm gonna give y'all. This is so cold what he's giving you, because when he says it. If you look at directly what he's saying, you missed everything he just said. Survival of the fittest. He just gave you some deep ass insight. This is how the survival of the fittest works. You know how you feel sometimes people are attacking you? Do you realize that when you build something and create something and grow something, you're attacking somebody else? Do you ever think about that? See, it's okay when you attacking, but it's okay when they attack you. I want you to understand how this game is working. You're in a game where you're battling, and Corey Smith's got this portion of the market, right? Let's say Yapasua decides he wants to make uniforms for the market. He's like, yo, I can design pretty well, right? And he's innocently loving Court. Oh, I love you, Court. You're my greatest. I got a picture of you on my wall. You just doing like this. That's just my shit. And you wear Court Smith clothes while you designing. Like, I got homage. This is my man. I fucks with Court Smith, right? And all that love you think you're doing, you don't realize you're attacking. I want you to understand that. Your growth is an attack on somebody else. You don't get to grow. There's no innocent shit here. See, some of y'all are so motherfucking soft you can't hear what I'm saying. There's nothing innocent here. By default, if you don't have the ability to fight, defend, protect, grow, compete, deal with friction, you're down there laying in the grave. If you decide to grow, by default, you're attacking, which means that means you're forcing Court Smith to do what? Battle with you. It ain't personal, though. You ain't making it personal. If he's advanced, he won't make it personal. But his goal is to either destroy you, copy you, or destroy you, copy you, or bring you into his team and bring you into his system. That's his goals. And you got to know that the game you just got into ain't going to be like, oh, you're so here, so beautiful. That farmer's market trash, I tell you, I fucking can't stand. That shit is not real. They're in a make-believe fucking world thinking that's how business works. That I'm supposed to give a fuck that you can't pay your customers, your employees. I don't. And no one else does. When you go into imagine you go to your favorite, think about your favorite restaurant. You go to your favorite restaurant and the food is trash. And the person says, you say, hey man, what happened? I come here all the time. Yeah, well, last week we couldn't meet our budget and we couldn't pay our employees. Does that make you just keep going back and eating bad food? Or you say, okay, well, I got to find an alternative? I mean, guess what you just said? I don't give a fuck. You might do it with a smile. Oh, well, here's $20 from me and goodbye. Bye. Bye-bye. You did a little nicer than me. Now I'd be like, what? Oh, you fucking tripping. You trash. And walk out. I told you I'm candid. Right? But what I'm trying to explain to you that your growth is an attack on somebody else. That means expect to be attacked. If you, for example, if IT Media hit this state level right now where we're pretty stable in the local Bay Area. Okay, some youngster coming out of high school is coming to attack me right now. It's just a game. You don't get to be like, well, I'm up here and nobody should mess with it. No, if you live in a nice neighborhood and that you guys work really hard to fix that neighborhood up, somebody's coming for it. It's not bad. But when you built it up, you realize you attacked somebody else. See, we always see the attack one way, we don't see it the other way. We see when we're doing it to somebody else, we don't see it when it's coming back at us. We're wolves, baby. In a wolf world, we're killing animals. I mean, somebody might try to kill me. Y'all want to be dogs. I should be able to eat the food and nobody bothers me and they just pet me and I go to sleep. No. This game is not meant for soft shit. Sorry. I'm not teaching soft shit. It doesn't exist in this world. That's why you got to develop some grit about you and you got to be able to be under attack and not take it personal. Ooh. Have you heard just said? Can you come under attack and not take it personal? Some of you, okay. We're in a world right now that people are working on moving like children, not being adults. What do you mean like moving like children, being like adults? Part of being an adult is ability to take care of other adults. Yeah, you're complaining about responsibility. It means that you're trying to advocate being a child. Also, what makes you a child is you constantly complaining that everybody's hurting you, attacking you, offending you, and gossiping about you under attack and being a victim. You don't realize that once you decide to grow, you are attacking. And now as soon as somebody attacks you, like, your job is to outmaneuver those who attack you and survive. Adapt, grow, and survive. And don't make it once you make it personal, I've already beat you. Give my man the microphone. You don't make this shit personal. You grow. Okay.
But you don't always want to be in a position of attacking, right?
You always, if you want, do you want to grow?
Yeah.
Then you're always attacking. By default, see, you know what I'm saying? Once you grow, there's somebody who had that space that you just taken from. You didn't do it intentionally, but that's what it is.
So
The person, okay, for example, let's say if you were making 10 grand a month, you paying your car note, your house, and your pretty little girl, right? Your life is good. Now it comes along tomorrow, grows my business is over here innocently, and now you're only making 7 grand. Next week, now it grows a little more. Now you're making 5 grand. Do you feel, oh, I'm just sharing my money, or do you? And then you know that it's me taking up your market share. That's a form of attack, right?
yeah.
Okay, so are you saying you ain't gonna grow your business because you don't want to hurt nobody's feelings?
Nah.
Game recognized game with this motherfucker, right? Like we playing man. Human beings, that's how it works. It's like that's why the word justification don't make sense to me, because that's what we're doing. We're all growing, expanding our dreams, and if sometime I'm gonna step on your feet, like, do you realize like freedom requires compromises?
Right.
You can't have if everybody got their equal freedom, we're gonna be in war. We're gonna be at war. Just because that means that your freedom imposes on my freedom. So that means that somebody has to have to compromise so we can both we can live in existence by each other. So what I'm trying to explain to you is that your natural growth, hood shit, right? Let's say you're a hood dude and you want nice cars, you want a house with hella music, you want space for your family to come stay with you. Let's say there was no laws and you just continue to expand based upon your needs. At what point do you impede on everybody else's needs? At what point do you create war? You see where I'm going with this? That growth is an attack on somebody else. Man, I wish I could stay.
But how wouldn't you take things personal while being under attack?
Because once you realize it's the nature of life itself, it's like I don't take it personal when God didn't give us forever life or forever. So when you die and somebody curses God, it's like, why are you cursing guys? We're here to live and die. Like, you know, it's like nobody in this room wants to die and leave their kids behind. I don't know about y'all, but I want to be here and watch my daughter to her last day, but it's not possible. Mm-hmm. Not if everything goes normal. It's not supposed to be possible. When we get a disease, it changes, right? But so by just natural, pure evolution, nothing works the way you want it to work. That's the problem. If you go back to that slide, it says the group that understands reality will like slaughter everybody else, because most people are trying to move through life the way they want it to work, the way the world should be, as opposed to adapting the way the world is. So the way the world is like, you see it in young people all the time, like, I shouldn't have to do this, and I should be able to do what I want to do. You should not. like, okay, family, I watch a lot of people, the kids with family. A lot of kids think family is a place they can hang out and be service and have fun. Family is a space of responsibility. That's all family is. It's responsibility. You get what you put in. That's all you get. But you see everybody in the family complain about what they don't get, but they don't put nothing in. Because they say the family should work the way I feel, as opposed to how do human beings, when they come together as a family, how does it work? So what I'm saying is that the more you realize that in this world, there's certain things, like, for example, like people who get mad, some people sit around and fuss about racism all day long. And they become immobilized. They don't do shit. Accept it. It is. Okay, it's here. Accept it. Now what we going to do? Different conversation. But some people sit around and be like, every time you make a mistake, oh, racism, I need to talk about it. No, you need to talk that you are outside your zone of genius and you're weak. You can step into the competition. Competition will always be there. You will never... If you don't learn to fight, and I ain't talking about physical with your hands, if you don't learn how to fight in the art of fighting, then just get used to being poor. And don't complain about it. Just, I'm a poor dude because I don't like to fight. I'm kind of scary like that. But the reality is that if you meet anybody who's grown a large sum of resources, they had to master art of fighting others in innocent spaces and protecting themselves from innocent people. And if you whoop me, it's not because you was good enough to whoop me. It's because I stopped being strong enough to maintain my position.
Hey, can I add something to this?
Go ahead.
Have you been in a match yet? A fighting match?
Oh, yeah, I have.
So after the match is over, what do you go and do with dude?
Well, normally I just like to go home and like go to sleep or something. But my friends, I'm serious. No, people think I'm so boring because I'll just go home, look at my plants and animals, and just go to sleep.
No. I'm talking about in the ring.
Nah,
After the fight is over, what do you go do?
Nah, I give a lot of love.
You give him
yeah.
love. He just finished trying to beat your ass, right?
Yeah.
But after the fight was over, you went and showed him love because it's not personal. This was war inside this ring, right? Mm-hmm. It's the same thing in business.
Same thing.
It's the exact same thing in business. Somebody trying to sue you, do this and do that, and it's the art of business. It's the closest thing to what you do is in life that there is. So it's the same mentality. Oh shit, good punch. Oh, good one. Oh, that was a good one. You know how Kevin Holland be talking like, damn, that hurt. Ow. Like he talks through it because it's just we're trying to take each other's heads off, but we're doing it in a respectable way, and that's what business is.
And I think that's kind of something that like I also been learning because I'm young. So again, even when you guys just talk, it's a lot like me hearing it. And I still have to go back home and watch y'all videos like 2 or 3 times to fully process like what I heard. But it's allowing me to understand that even though things can be a little rocky, like I don't have to be emotional or take it personal to a certain extent to where it's like, because then again, it's just the nature of shit, right?
It's just nature. It's the nature. Like when shit is rough and rocky, is because you're so young and making decisions that the only reason it's rocky is because of decisions you made before. You don't realize it. The more you, like, the reason my life works that kind of way because I improved my decision making. But I had to make a lot of mistakes to get here. I didn't just wake up one day and be like, I know hella shit. No, I didn't. Right? And the reason I'm not a billionaire because I don't know how to make those decisions yet. So there's some decision I'm making today that's taking money out of my pocket or add money into my pocket tomorrow. And so the more you see that kind of shit, that shit changes the game, which is, side note. Folks, stop thinking your deep brain is the brain that runs shit. You know who makes the most damage, creates the most damage in your life, youngster? Mm-hmm. Your impulsive brain. Pay attention how you acting when you just being emotional or somebody asks you a quick question or you just feeling some way. Pay attention to your fast responses. I think we were on a retreat and I was telling guys like, yo, I know I'm fucking with y'all. You know, y'all think I'm getting on your nerves because I'm challenging small talk. But small talk means everything. How you respond in those small spaces end up dictating outcomes, more outcomes you will even see. So it could be some shit like, you could be somewhere and be like, man, fuck you, man. And then like go next day and then realize the person who heard you say that at the time passed a judgment on you that now they're sitting in a seat where they can make some money with you. You don't even know this is happening. And they bypass you because they're like, I don't know if I trust that dude. I like that dude, right? So at the end of the day, it's like your impulsive talk, how you respond when you're emotional, all these points where you think you're losing control, those are areas you got to gain control of when you're young. And there's a lot of people, I promise you, there's a lot of people who are 50 years of age and still ain't master that shit. Most people still have emotional and they come back and be like, oh, I was being emotional, I'm sorry. No, fuck all that.
So for me to say, and of course I'm gonna just keep asking questions, because I feel like again I'm very like generous and I'm well mannered when I go out. So somebody can talk to me. Of course I'm not gonna react in a certain way. Maybe per se I would react at home, but what is another skill like you think me being a young person while learning should inquire?
When you're young, say analyze your ass off. You know, people say you just too analytical. When you're young, people say that shit like, oh, you're just too analytical. No, analyze your ass off. Because when I'm talking about, I ain't talking about your mannerism because that's just on the surface. I'm talking about if me and you hanging out and you gotten comfortable, you gotten loose, and shit just starts happening fast in your world, pay attention to your response to everything and look at those patterns because often that person is different than your intellectual side of you. The person asks me a question, I'm not worried about that. But the problem is that person won't show up on the front line and they're not shooting a gun. You got pictures of like when the shots are fired, who's that person? You ever see somebody go to a range and they be like, I don't miss shit. Yeah. They get into a gunfight, they can't even hit a fucking fucking air balloon right in front of them. Oh shit, because that's who you need to know. If you're gonna go into battle, pay attention to that person. And that's why when I can't tell you how many people I know who are highly intelligent when they're calm, but in the midst of battle, they're just erratically trash. And think about this. Okay, so you show you how this works. I'm gonna give you go into a car dealership. You really want that car. Guess what you are now? You're erratic. You're emotional. You're out of control. And if you don't know how to control that space, that dude's about to pimp you like you've never been pimped before. But when you know your space by knowing yourself, and you know you feel the energy running through your body, you start saying, okay, safety move here, safety move. You start putting yourself in your safety boxes because you don't trust I don't trust you, bro. I know how you gonna get that car red. That's the shit I've been wanting all these years. This car gonna have me getting them all when I go home. So guess what? I don't trust you, right? You can't negotiate for shit for me. So I'm gonna create some space here. I'm gonna do this here. I'm gonna say no matter what the fuck he says. And your brain gonna be like, man, just say yeah, bro. For all the words you using. Or you'll say yes and leave there paying 15% interest, and say yourself, well, man, well, next time. I'm telling you, pay attention to your impulsive version of yourself. Like if you get mad right now, what are you gonna do? Do you think about fucking that person up? Or do you realize I do this all the time, so let me come up with these techniques because I don't trust myself yet until I gain control of that space? Like the impulsive version of you will make more bad decisions that will cost you so much money that you will forget about. That's the cold shit you'll forget about. Somebody come in and sell you some shit, you know, I brought that shit, I don't remember buying that shit because they caught you at an emotional moment. You know, I had a hard day. I'm feeling some kind of way. You know, I did my taxes. I turned them in. And then the IRS hits you up for like, yo, your taxes is off. And mind you might be right. You might work it out. But you're going to spend the next 3 months where they're going to tie your money up, lock your money, because you made a hell of a mistake because I was tired. Yo, tired don't mean shit. Fuck your tired. No one gives a fuck. But that's one of the things I would tell you as a young dude. Like, don't fool yourself to think that the intelligence that you read in the books is going to be the intelligence that's going to show up when you're being impulsive. They're two different forms of intelligence. And most people never work on that shit. Most people think that because they read the books and they have cool conversations, they're intelligent. You're not. It's how do you act? Like, if you go to practice in basketball and you don't miss a motherfucking shot, how do you act when a defender's pushing you, punching you, hitting you, doing all these moves to you, calling you all kind of names, talking about your mama? Can you still win the game, or do you now talk about your emotions and you saw red or you didn't think about that, or I was too focused on this person? And when you get to the higher level of business competition, all that's coming for you. Or you want to see somebody lose a business, you want to see good people rise and fall, it's a person who doesn't have emotion, doesn't have impulsive control, emotional control. What do you respond if right now you ain't been in class for 6 months, you go to your friend's house, they playing dominoes, they talking shit, how do you talk? Do you flow with them, or do you still remain yourself? Right? If a bad one comes in the room and you want her bad, do you hold the same standards, or do you become a trick? Y'all men know what I'm talking about. You trying to buy her. Like, where does that line start for you? What do you say to yourself, I'm this dude no matter what it is, even if I have to take a loss? Give you an example. COVID happened, right? So I had a time to go get me another car because my lease was up. I see the first car, I get in this car. It was a GMC 4x4, the off-road one with the red little handles at the bar to pull the car. It was pretty as hell, right? Had all the little digital toy. I'm like, man, it's nice. Had to climb up, had to get up, I had to climb in the damn car. I was like, I like this shit. I'm still up high. Dude said, yeah, we got a $10,000 markup. I love that car. And I was like, miss me. I'm out of here. You got me fucked up. A few more people hit it, right? I was driving my company van for, about 3 or 4 months. And then one day I went online and BMW's like, yeah, we do no markups at 1.9% interest, and we'll give you a discount on the car. Sign the paper, let's go. Okay, so I paid under market value during COVID. Guess what I just found out recently reading articles? People were paying up to $100,000 over the asking price of certain vehicles. Meaning that now that the market has readjusted because of inflation, they're $100,000 overvalued. They're paying, like for example, let's say you bought a luxury car that cost you $400,000, right? Let's say you paid down $200,000, but the car is really worth $300,000. So now that the COVID is over, because you've been paying $6,000 to $8,000 a month, this is a real thing. Because remember, the interest rates was down to 1%, and people thought the interest, because the payments was so low based upon the interest rate, and someone would have to pay an extra $10,000 to $20,000. I was like, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't actually add up at all, right? But a lot of people's like, I pay what I gotta pay. I gotta have that car. So many people overpaid that now a large portion of America is so deeply underwater in auto loans because the value of the vehicle, they owe $10,000 to $20,000 worth over the value of the vehicle currently, and they rent. So in the end, they're underwater. They can't even sell it. If you say, okay, I'm gonna trade this in, dealer's like, I don't want that car. You owe too much. I can't take that car from you. You can't sell it back to the market. Meaning that you got to pay that car down, and by the time you pay the car down, the value. So as the value drop, you're still going to be in front of that value. So that means you got to pay that car for life until it's over. That means that person got a chance to keep you locked into it. Most people, when they buy a car, they only keep it for like 3 years and go buy another one. But you paid down into the equity, so now you can just go trade it in. But if you paid over, you're stuck with that car for 6 to 7 years. That shit crazy, right? But a lot of people was in their emotional spaces. They don't manage their impulse. Me, I was like, no. And people thought I was crazy. Like, no, oh my God, no, you doing too. No, I ain't doing too much. I'm not emotional. I did the math and I did the numbers. It says, you're a sucker if you buy this car, bruh. And I had the money to buy it easy. I could have bought it straight cash. But I've been a sucker to give you $10,000 for no value? You're not gonna come over and wash my car every day? Man, get out of here, partner. So I'm trying to say, like, that emotional space will have you, because when you get, a lot of hard decisions is emotional for most human beings. And if you're not paying attention to these emotional opportunities to control yourself, when you get in those decision-making moments, you're gonna fuck it over and over again. And you think, oh, why is the world happening bad to me? Because you don't work in yourself when shit's easy. Mm-hmm. Go to my slides. Let's do this shit. Come on, I wanna roll.
You see, I'm looking at you like I got questions, but I'm cool.
All right, let's roll. Let's do this shit. Let's do this. Hey, by the way, get to that. You remember that? Did you still have a spot I told you to get in the book last week? See if you can find it after you read this. Go and read this and then see if you can find it.
Okay. Building strength is about domesticating the wild horses of our nature.
This is almost the same shit I was just saying. Domesticating the wild horses of your nature, meaning not domesticating your intelligence. Let me be very clear with this. It's a difference. You could be highly intelligent and still fucking up your life. Like, you could be highly intelligent and be underwater from bills and bad decisions. But keep going.
Training and harnessing them to improve our lives. It's about turning the headwinds of our biology into tailwinds that carry us reliably toward our most cherished goals.
Court already did this. I'm gonna bring back some. I'm gonna double tap some Court said, but I'm just gonna say what he said so you can hear this. Court said one son says the reason I'm an alcoholic because my dad was alcoholic. The other one turned the tailwind to the headwind and said the reason I'm not an alcoholic because my dad's an alcoholic. Entrepreneurs, stop making your punk ass excuses. Your weak ass, sorry ass, pathetic ass excuses. All those stories you tell as an excuse is you accepting the tailwind as a tailwind. Just reframe those tailwinds. No one wants to hear that shit. No one gives a shit. Next slide. All right, let's do this shit. I'm ready to flex some muscles. Let's go. I've been peaceful to this point. Let's go.
Self-accountability means taking responsibility for your abilities, your inabilities, and your actions. If you can't do that, you might never move forward.
Okay. Let me keep read the next. Go ahead and read the small print.
You might not have someone in your life who holds you accountable, but that doesn't matter. You can hold yourself accountable. Others might not expect more from you, but you can expect more from yourself. No one else need reward or punish you into it.
Okay. That right is that this right here describes the Bible. Mm-hmm. This is why some of y'all are horrible Christians, because y'all looking for somebody to hold you accountable. God got to hold you accountable. Preacher needs to hold you accountable. Other Christians got to hold you accountable. Can you move in self-accountability? Can you hold yourself accountable for I'm preaching the same thing he's preaching. That's why I'm mad. That's why I'm moving a little bit faster. But what he preached earlier, right? Integrity. Can you say at the end of the day, I'm going to hold myself accountable without somebody? Okay, there's always somebody looking. Somebody's always watching you. There are people judging you every day. There's people gossiping about you. There's people networking about you. And guess why you're fucking it up? You don't hold yourself accountable. You're leaving yourself open for other grown folks to bust you. That's trash. You're a grown-ass human being, and you let somebody else reprimand you and check you and tell you you're doing wrong and watching over you like a child because you don't hold yourself accountable. It is not up to somebody else to show you to handle your responsibility. Look, I've been having this conversation with my family. Like, I've been hardcore with my family. Look, handle your responsibilities. Handle your responsibilities. Like, part of being an adult, when you're raising your child, the reason you're teaching them chores and responsibilities and so forth and so on, because that's what adulthood is. It's handling your responsibilities. If I got to keep coming behind you and you didn't wash your dishes, you didn't fold your clothes, you hid half your clothes underneath your bed, you threw shit outside the garbage can because you threw half the dishes in the garbage can and you just take one or two out at a time because you don't want to wash them all at once. You know the reason you're teaching that ritual is not because you need help around the house. You're teaching that ritual because you're trying to show them that learn how to do this shit without oversight. Because that's what leaders, when you're an entrepreneur, who's your oversight? Who the fuck is your oversight? You want to be a big lawsuit? Lose this space here. Next slide. I'm gonna roll some of these because Corey's already covered them, so I'm not gonna just whatever. Go ahead.
External rewards are nice, but they're optional. Mm-hmm. You don't need them to do your best.
Pause. This is kind of harder than you guys realize. Some of you guys don't feel like you're good enough, so you constantly turn it for external validation. And this is why you will never be your best. This is why the internet and social media is setting you up for being weak. You can't ask for people to validate your value in the market. You're constantly, business is about putting your head down, making a lot of mistakes in silence. Not walking through this world looking for constant validation, because then guess what happens with mistakes? It's hard to face. When you're constantly looking for people to accept you, you're no longer driving your strategy. You're allowing the public you're allowing external forces to create a superficial strategy which aligns with what pleases people, not where you want to go. So looking for validation, it will happen. I'm not demonizing. I'm saying seeking validation. Look, why do most basketball players go broke? Go back to the stripper at the club. Why is he at the club shooting money in the air? Why does he have these unnecessary amount of jewelry around his neck that makes no damn sense? Why is he driving his car that doesn't make, why did he buy a house that if he loses his contract in 2 years, he got to get rid of that house? Because he's looking for what? Outside what? My point to you guys is that if you play in this game of growth, because business is about slow growth, compounding, right? It may excel, you may have these surges where things are happening, surge, but a lot of it is slow. It's boring and it's slow. Do you realize you can't do that? You can't go through that process effectively, strategically, if your main focus is external focus? Do you realize that sometimes you'll be wrong with the public to be right for yourself? You can't exist in that space. So outside validation here is dangerous as fuck. And many of us, because we don't feel like we're good enough, we spend too much time in the outside world trying to look for validation. Look at what I'm doing. Look at where I'm at. Look what I'm going. Look what I brought. Look what I opened up. Look what I'm trying to do. And don't get me wrong, I'm not demonizing all of it. I'm saying the consistent desire for somebody, you know what, I feel like y'all don't see me. Well, maybe your shit's weak. Keep going.
Your honest judgments about yourself are more important than anyone else.
There you go. If you can't learn to value yourself,
There it is.
because do you realize that as you grow, envy's coming, right? Let's say let's say you got 10 million in a community where nobody has a million. You know envy's coming, right? You know how they're gonna attack you? They're gonna come after yourself. And guess how you're gonna fall? Oh, I just want to be valued by people. Do you know that's how a man becomes a trick? How a woman becomes pimped? Because she don't love herself. He doesn't love himself. You got to love yourself. You got to say, I don't need no outside validation. Matter of fact, women, just give me a second, talk to the men. Men, if you want a bad one, I'm talking about quality bad one. You ain't talking about just visually bad. I'm talking about bad across the board. You got to move independent of looking for self-acceptance. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself with a video vixen and going to be broke for a lot of years. Okay, I'm back, women. All right, keep going.
And when you screw up, you should be strong enough to look in the mirror and say, this was my fault.
Man,
I need to do better.
man.
While you may never have asked for it, you're in charge of your own life and a larger part of your outcomes than you may think.
Some of you guys have not left the bosom of your parents, and now you want white people to be your parents. Now you want business to be your parent. Now you want government to be your parents. You can tell a person who wants the government to be their parents by their surroundings in their house or outside their house. Do you take care of your surroundings as this is my space? Or do you take care of it like, where somebody's supposed to be taking care of this, somebody's supposed to be fixing this? Like, how much, when things happen in life, how fast can you say it's my fault without feeling like you just shrunk yourself? And if you feel like you're being shrunken every time you say it's my fault, that's because there's a hole in self-value. If you don't have the ability to say, yo, my fault. Because when you say my fault, you get autocorrect as fast as fucking move on, learn the lesson, and become stronger. But the more you continue to reason with fault, the more you continue to dismiss the lesson that you're learning from the mistake. Learning is impossible without a mistake, without making mistakes, right? But it's easy when you sat in a classroom in K through 12. Now you're a grown-ass adult making excuses for every mistake you've ever made or using language. Like my goddaughter the other day told me one day, she says, oh, you're doing too much. I think I think that's the hardest I ever came to at her as a teenager. Like, learn to say my fault. And move the fuck out and learn the lesson from it. Give Yapasu a microphone. Okay, that's an age. Well, you see how you talk to old people talk, oh, Lord, good God. Jesus, give me the microphone. Have mercy. Young dudes like, oh, let me get that. Damn, okay, give me that. Oh, Lord, have mercy. Go ahead, brother.
Get what I was just thinking about.
Oh, but turn the microphone on.
I did.
Okay, there you go.
So shoot, I find myself in the space of taking on responsibility or blame. In my head, it's so that we can move forward and get to the solution. Is there a fault in that?
Yeah, that's defensive. That's trash. Also, I just silence myself when it's not working. Like if it's at a point where, like, say if I'm working with you, and the only way we can get through this is, then what I'm doing is I'm enabling your bad behavior. I'm not going to enable you. What I'm going to do is I just walk away and move on and make my next choice. I won't sit around and subsidize failure to the point that it's causing failure in my own life, right? Like if you at a point where I'm like, hey, let's say me and Court went in a partnership or something. I was like, Court, we need to go right. And Court keeps going left. And he keeps making mistakes. He sees it. I'm not going to be like, well, I'm going to make him mad, so I got to say these nice. That's now no longer being candid, right? Now I'm building elephants in the room. That eventually is going to be causing where I don't even like this dude no more. And going to separate. You're like, why are you separating from Court? I just don't like him. Like, I'm over him now. No, it's my fault. Because I couldn't say to him, dude, I'm not doing this shit. I'm not fucking with you that way. Like, there's been times where I've taken that same position, even Mashama. I'm like, yo, Mashama, I hear what you're saying. Unless you're going to pay for it, I'm going over here. Right? Being able to be stern about that stuff, but trying to say, well, you know what, or something happened that he may have stick on and be like, well, Mashama, it's kind of both of our faults. And you do want to think, no, it's your fault, bro. It's your fault. So what are you going to do different in the future? And I still love you. But what are you going to do different in the future? But if I remove that ownership of fault, I also remove the lesson from you. So that means I got a partner that's working with me is stupid as fuck now. Because guess what I've been doing? I enabled him to be dumb as fuck because I've taken away all of his fault by softening the argument. So what I do now, I told Pastor Chris, I said him a hashtag. I said, hashtag let God teach. You know what that means? That means when I can't talk to you, I let life go and have that fucking conversation with you.
Man, you on fire right now.
So at the end of the day, it's like, don't enable people by making them feel comfortable You need to accept it's your fault. The more you remove that conversation, the longer you're gonna be stay dumb to a whole bunch of shit that's going on in your personal life. None of us see ourselves. So you run around here trying to be perfect. I mean, all you're doing is practicing blindness. There's no such thing as you being perfect. That's an illusion in your fucking head. The more you focus on just doing good, that means you're doing a lot of wrong. Keep going.
People who lack self-accountability tend to run on autopilot.
Okay, stop. Okay, before it was the earthly people, I used to talk bad about pop culture people. You know what pop culture people are? People who walk around all the time and just, you know what, you're fabulous. Oh my God, I love you. Oh my God, that's great. Oh my God, where you get the clothes from? Oh my God, you're this. Oh, that party I went to was so amazing. Oh my God. Oh, you know, I'm just a happy, I love to be loved. I'm just a joyful person. They move like that. Them autopilot fucks. Right? Y'all might think, oh, well, no, why you call them autopilot fuck? People on autopilot are just, they're the sheep following the sheep falling off the side of the cliff. No one's able to turn left or right. They're just copy and paste. They have no substance. They have no context because they don't take time and go, wait, but we believe in that. Why? Give me the history. Give me the context. They're not having those kind of conversations. It's more or less, I need to make you feel comfortable. I don't want to be held accountable. I don't want you to feel, let's just, what can we say to make each other happy? Oh, okay. So it's they, us, her, he. Okay, that's what we all are. That's what we all are. We all good with that? No challenges, huh? You'll make everybody comfortable? As opposed to, hey, can I ask you a question? Why the fuck you call yourself a they? And why would I know that? And why are you offended when I first met you that you held me to that standard? What is so damaging you that you couldn't see me as a human being? And when did you stop practicing the diversity? And why are you now becoming a bully? Oh, we won't have that conversation. What we'll say is, you know, I want you to be happy. If you practice, okay, let me reverse this so you can make it simpler. If you practice making everybody comfortable, you're probably hella superficial. You're Mr. or Mrs. Autopilot. You happy? You're happy. I just want to come in the room, make everybody happy. I want you to be happy with me. I want to be happy with you. Let's all be happy. That means you're not that person. You're not accountable. I don't trust you for shit. And when you give that person trust and they fail, you were surprised. You're surprised, huh? You don't know how that shit works, huh? So if you say, no, I have a tendency to run on autopilot all the time, it's because you're practicing avoidance. If you're practicing avoidance, you're on autopilot. I'm avoiding the friction. I'm avoiding the competition. I'm avoiding the discomforts. I'm avoiding the arguments. I'm avoiding making people mad. So now guess what? I'm autopilot Mary. I'm autopilot Michael. And that's what we do. We just autopilot all day long. And then we will go, I don't like my life. I can't never get what I want. I desire to be successful in my life. Everything's just always mediocre. Because you are. Mm-hmm. You're Mr. and Mrs. Avoidance. Go ahead, Kasha.
Cold.
Is there a part of that is energy management or energy conservation? Like, I don't need to get into every interaction or uncover every...
That exists. You can have both. Mm-hmm. Energy management, I don't engage everything and everybody and everyone. But avoidance management is a thing. That's an active thing. So I don't want to put one against the other. I can practice not avoiding people and manage energy at the same time. I mean that, let's say if I walk up to the, let's say I walk to the Yapasua and court and they're talking about who's the greatest basketball player of all time. I don't really care about that. So I just like, yo, what's up, y'all? Keep it walking. That's not avoidance. I didn't do a dance to make them, yeah, basketball, y'all hella cool. You know me, I love basketball too. I'll see y'all in a minute later. See, that's that's the extra step I'm talking about. It's that making people, you feel that it's your job to be the concierge with everybody you run across that make them comfortable with you or you to be comfortable with them, right? That is insane. It's absolutely, why is that your responsibility? When I'm around some people, I just go numb. I mean, I just like, listen to you. Okay, cool. I use curiosities a lot of times when I'm around people. Like, why'd you do it that way? What are you thinking about? Or sometimes I got my own shit to do, right? But if I find myself overcompensating other people, then I find myself being, okay. here's something you will not see, Kaja, but I can see, but you won't see. I'm not talking about you. I'm just talking about what you won't. Anybody, whoever's a you on the other side. I'm talking about you. Let's just say the fictitious you is Agent Zero you. If Agent Zero you is sitting right here, what you cannot see is how your autopilot makes your outcome of your dope conversations non-existent for me. Meaning that you're trash, but we can have a deep conversation. Because when you're autopilot, like going back to that conversation I had with him earlier, when you're in autopilot, you don't see how you have these compounded group of habits that you built up over years that came from your parents, your mama, and you're doomed to have the same outcome because you're using the same habits. You didn't have no room to examine those habits because you're just used to just kind of moving with your energy. You're not saying, my energy's telling me to go here, make a choice. My energy's telling me to go here, make a choice. So that means that by the end of the day, I have different outcomes in my life, right? But if you're constantly just responding to the feeling and the moves and guess what you're doing? You're autopilot. But a lot of times, the reason you never get a chance to be in that space of like, I'm sitting in front of Kaja. Do I really care about this conversation? You know what? Like, for example, okay, let's say Court came at me. I love Court to death. Let's say Court came at me and said something to me, and I don't think he's processing it correctly. The old version of me might be like, okay, if I want to make him comfortable, I might say, yeah. And I see where you're coming from, bro. I see where you're coming from. That's kind of tight, man. I mean, I wouldn't do it that way, but I see it. Yeah. It's cool. Okay, well, I just advocated for his ignorance, right? Or you may have somebody go, okay, all right, cool. Thanks for telling me. I'm out. That's also avoidance. What I might say is, could it be another way, bro? You thought about it any other way? Is it possible to see it any other way? Right? Why am I doing that? Because I'm not on autopilot. I'm listening to the conversation going, even though I love him, and even though he showed me an emotion that something bothered him, doesn't mean I'm going to align with him to make him comfortable. Now think about a community that moves with a lot of this emotion. The other day I got fired from my job, and it was some bullshit, and them racist ass white people. Bro, what did you do at that job, by the way? That's Nana. Most people won't do that. And guess what? And if I keep practicing that art of like, yeah, that becomes my belief system. What you practice is what you become. So my ability to stop in I'm talking about, I analyze moments that you would never think I would analyze. But what it does is it gives me freedom of choice, which means that I'm dictating my outcome, and certain things that happen to me, like I don't find myself becoming victim of something I didn't realize I made a decision for because I was on autopilot. So like with my daughter, I'm raising somebody else. This is a long game I'm playing with her, right? I will watch myself and go, is this about you? Is this about her? Is this about you? Is this about her? I have to ask those questions all the time. It's about you, it's about her. And guess what? Sometimes it's about me. And I realize, there ain't no value. Then I have to ask myself, but is it okay to be selfish here, or should I not be selfish here? Like these questions I'm asking these stuff, and sometimes I will leave a question pending until I run across something that gives me a lead to kind of help figure out where I need to make a decision. So guess what? Guess what I'm not becoming? A copy and paste of my parents. A copy and paste of my hood. A copy and paste of my poverty experiences. I'm producing different experiences because I'm constantly going, is that really the best decision? How did Nana, when he was only making $600 past his basic bills a month, refund any customer that came to him and and was in a full scarcity mindset and was not as emotionally stoic as I am today? It's because I had the ability to question all my autopilot decisions. How did Nana leave all the groups, from leaving Christianity groups to leaving fashion groups to leaving player groups to leaving gangster groups? How did I leave all those groups? Because Nana questioned all of his autopilot moments. When everybody was like, yeah, like the inertia comes in, that's how I fought my inertia. I don't just go with the crowd. I don't give a fuck. And if the crowd moves on, okay, I'll find another crowd. But I'm into me, and I realize that I'm trying to control my outcome, and I don't get to sit in front of the person. I don't get to sit in front of my daughter when she's 25 and be like, daughter, I would have been successful, but, I was hanging out with Cord, and, he was pimping, so I had to pimp with him for a little while, but if he wasn't pimping, I could have been somebody else. My daughter would look at me and go, you're a soft-ass dude. I would welcome that, too. Daddy, you hella soft. Oh, wait, go, keep going.
This is the exact opposite of commanding your own life.
There you go. Next sentence.
These people.
Wait, stop. People who lack self-accountability tend to run on autopilot. This is the exact opposite of what?
Commanding your own life.
So what the fuck y'all sit in this class for if you ain't gonna command your own life? Why the fuck y'all hanging out with me? I know I'm cute, and I understand. Some of y'all might be suffering from my gorgeousness. But outside the rest of you motherfuckers, why y'all here? Why haven't you turned off your goddamn screen yet? Once again, I understand some of y'all want to look at pretty things all day long. And I look at screensavers, do what you gotta do. Point is this, why? Why the fuck am I your screensaver?
I'm just here so I won't get fined. I'm just here so I won't get fined.
I'm serious. Like, this is a game we playing, which is if you playing that game and you running on autopilot and you don't hold self-accountability, why the fuck are you here? Mm-hmm. Keep going.
These people constantly succumb to external pressure.
Pimp, come on, hear me now.
Seeking
Hold on a second, let me talk to the tricks. Tricks, hear me now. Tricks are for kids. Hear me now. Come on now.
I mean,
Why
you know
you
the rules
succumb
of the
to
game.
why does the game rule you and you don't have no game? Why is it that you buying shit that don't make sense? Why have you bought all the latest dumbass gadgets, invested in all the dumb stuff? Why are you in motherfucking MLN? What's that? Multi-level marketing shits.
I mean,
Why
you know the
the
rules of the
fuck
game.
are you so
I mean,
broke?
your bitch just chose me.
Why? You know why you so motherfucking broke? Can you read that? These people constantly succumb to what?
External pressure.
Why you think none of us is able to always move to my own rhythm when I see fit? Yeah, I move with the herd sometime when it's comfortable and there's no damage. But if the herd says right, I'd be like, psh. Y'all remember the first year I said fuck social justice? And the whole class was like, oh, he tripping. And today we're starting to discover, damn, social justice wasn't good for us. We didn't really win. Of course we didn't win. But I still held my position. Why? Because I looked at the tea leaves like, this doesn't add up. This doesn't go along with the principles of life. This is breaking all the fucking, this is a belief system. This is a fucking cult. Cult gone wild. Keep going.
Seeking rewards.
What?
Seeking rewards.
I'm on social media. I need everybody to see, because somebody needs to just show. You know what? I'm running my business. I'm going through something, but I feel like you need to give me extra money because I'm doing the best for you. Farmers market shit I didn't tell you about. Trash ass business. Keep going.
Avoiding punishments and measuring.
Hold on. No, don't rush me on this one. Avoiding punishments. You made a decision. Take the responsibility of the decisions you made. If you was man or woman enough to make the motherfucking decision, be man and woman enough to deal with the punishment that comes along with it. Otherwise, don't make. What was that? This is from the 70s. Don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Y'all know that. Some of y'all know what that is. Some of y'all don't know what that is. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's old school, y'all.
Can I tell
Some of y'all
you-
like, oh, Google, what is don't do the crime? You look it up on Google, they tell you what the hell it is. Keep going.
The thing that came to my head was no romance without finance. I was like, what?
That's old
Oh
school.
my gosh.
Beretta,
Okay.
baby, Beretta. But anyway, go ahead.
Avoiding punishments and measuring themselves against other people's scoreboards.
Stop. That's the most important one right there. Stop. The most important one. Gabby, have a seat for 4 seconds. Just for a second. The most important one. Measure yourself by other people's. Do you realize that you cannot see? Do you realize you'll make so many poor decisions by looking at what's in other people's pockets? See what other people are doing? Comparing yourself to other people? You will be so unhappy with yourself and be amazing and think your life sucks because you measure yourself to other people. You got to stop doing the comparison game. It will just, look, okay. You know why a lot of black people in the Bay Area are so fucked up? Because we're comparing ourselves to the white boys in the Bay Area who's making a lot of, like, more money than anybody else in the world. Mm-hmm. Even though you may have the best life of all black people in the United States, you over talking about, I'm suffering. I think I'm going to commit suicide. It's so fucked up. I mean, who's going to live off of $250,000 a year? People in Mississippi say, wait, how much you going? I'm going to rob you. Say it again. Like, literally, you don't realize your position in this world. You don't realize that you got momentum, because momentum is slow and it's going to take a long time. But you can't see and measure your growth because you're in comparison mode. Well, now I got this. Why don't I have this? Because you haven't put your time in yet. Don't use comparisons. Stop the comparison game because you will devalue yourself. The reason you think your life is fucked up because you're looking at, I know I have a partner right now. He got hella money. Do you know what your partner does? And let me help you out. Watch that partner for the next 10 years. Do you want that life? Oh, you don't? So this whole time you've been making trick ass moves because you're trying to align with somebody that you don't have no connection in their real world. You don't really see them. You don't have no appreciation for where you are. Which, like, okay, if you lack appreciation, going back to what we're just saying, then that means you're not showing up fully to the moment because you're stuck in where you want to be in the future and what you didn't do in the past. Meaning that you're neglecting everything that's in front of you. Now you suck in everything you do every day. You got to be present and aware and see what's happening in front of you to be able to say, you know, we could do this better. I went to test drove a Rivian because I thought about, by the way, I can't leave BMW. Fuck it. It is what it is. But I test drove a Rivian. I wanted to see what it was like. Horrible. It was trash. Not horrible. It was trash. You drive to San Jose and you go to a park. They've got these Rivians parked in the park. Well, why did I drive to San Jose? You could have had this shit in San Leandro, Fremont, Walnut Creek, Berkeley, Alameda. Why did I have to drive all the way to motherfucking San Jose? I get to San Jose, the cars are dirty. Not only cars are dirty, they give me the key. They sign me up. I sign up on the paperwork. Here's a key. Give you a route. Follow this route. Bring the car back, and that's your drive. And the car has panels that's out of alignment. You mean you didn't get the best Rivian, the fastest Rivian for me to drive? So I'll be like, I want a Rivian, and then when I have to buy the lower end Rivian, I'll be like, I gotta get that better one because I want that drive again. And then when I said, well, let me hear your music, and I turned the bass up, and the panels started rattling, I said, man, get me out this raggedy shit. I have no understanding why I would spend this kind of money, and I play the bass, and the motherfucking plastic panel is rattling. In 2024. Now, this is 76. I might have taken consideration. May even brought the motherfucker. But in 2024, I got options. Well, why? How did the people at Rivian not see that? Because they're not present. They're either in their story or where they want to go, what they're trying to achieve, where they're trying to come from, comparisons, as opposed to be here. Be right here. Comparisons will take you out the moment, and you won't see the customer experience because you think about what I want, what they're gonna think about this, how have I showed up, how people gonna position me, what will the fit. Be here. When I'm sitting in front of a client, I gotta be there, be focused on that project, and show up to that client. Not the last job, not the future job, not the outside community, not the outside world. Be here. And you tricks because you can't be here because you're doing comparisons. Comparisons will have you on the internet sign up for some dumbass services because you're doing comparisons. You'll see somebody make money overnight and you'll abandon your smart ass strategy for this quick fix. And how many people have seen people lose weight and did comparisons and they're losing weight accurately? Now they did comparisons. Now they'll get to the operation and have a fucked up rest of their life because of comparisons. Comparisons. Some of your methodologies in your business, you're not creating innovation. You're stuck in comparisons, meaning you have flatlined your fucking brand. Comparisons. Go ahead.
Can I just, because even sometimes our comparisons are illogical because they'll say, I want to have what you have. What they're saying is, I want to start from where you are now.
Not possible.
Because if you really wanted to compare yourself to a person who's successful, you got to start where that person started. You got to have go through the same gauntlet of experience that person went through, which took years and years of failure, pain, hurt, confusion to get to the point that they're now. They're saying, "Oh no, I want to skip them steps. I want to start from where you are now," because it really ain't fair comparison. If you envy somebody for what they have now and you ain't gone through what they went through, then you have an unrealistic idea of even how comparisons even work.
Comparisons is trash. Keep going, Shabisha. I'm warming up.
They're followers, not leaders.
What?
They're followers, not leaders.
Shabisha, you didn't say that, did you? Okay, don't look at nobody when you say it. Say it again.
They're followers, not leaders.
So if you don't have self-accountability, you're what?
Follower, not a leader.
Gabby, if you want to be a grown person, you got to have what? It's okay. Sex, you would say telephone, sex, texting cell phone. You gotta have accountability. If you don't lead in accountability, that's that's leadership shit. Meaning that I ask you to do something. Do you take ownership and get it done? Or do you need to check in and get praises and be like, it's hard for me to work for you, Nana, because you just don't praise me enough. Well, and then one day you go, I think I can do what you do. No, you can't. I don't even worry about you. I'll go to sleep and give you the gun. No, you still can't shoot. Because you're weak like that. You're weak like that. I go lay down in coffin and put the rolls on my chest. You still ain't go shoot because you're weak like that. Because you have no accountability. You're no threat to nobody. You're just hot air. You're just noise that we will forget within days. You will never make it into a history book. Unless your daughter decides to write that shit, and if she loses it, because you have no accountability. I think y'all missing this point. This is really strong. Accountability. When I go to the gym 4 days a week, guess what I'm practicing? No, excuse me, 6 days a week I work out. Guess what I'm practicing? Self-accountability. When I go home and study my stuff, guess what I'm practicing? I don't tell y'all, hey y'all, last night, I just want to hit y'all on Facebook real quick. Last night I was studying. Man, I read some cool shit. My eyes are red and stuff. I went and got me some new glasses. You know what I'm saying? Oh my God, no, thank y'all. I appreciate y'all for saying y'all love me. Thank you for the thumbs up. Of course, say you need appreciation. I'm going to receive that from y'all. Yeah. No, Auntie, I've got my life together. I'm doing really, really good. Cut it out. Be adults. Be accountable. Keep going.
They don't take responsibility for their mistakes. Instead, they always try to blame other people, circumstances, or bad luck. Nothing's ever their fault.
I told a group of 5 media people 2 Mondays ago, I said, you know what's the hardest shit about being a leader? And they said, what? You never get to blame nobody again.
Facts.
When you blame somebody, you talking kid talk. Mm-hmm. Because why don't you get to blame? It's not a burden. It's actually a gift. Because every time something happens to you and you say, what could I have done different? You are growing your strategical skills. You're learning to see people. You're learning to engage reality. You're learning to master how to maneuver and move in reality. Every time you blame, you're practicing childlike behavior and you're practicing stupidity. Mm-hmm. Blame is an act of stupidity. Don't waste your time with blame. Now, I get it how the puppies out there blaming. In the world, you're gonna have kids, working employees, you're gonna have adult employees. Once you decide you want to be a serious leader, you don't get to blame. Every hardship that happens to you, you gotta make it a tailwind and get the lesson out of it. Every headwind in your life, let me say this again. If you wish to be a leader, every headwind needs to become a tailwind. Mm-hmm. Every headwind, I didn't say some. Every headwind needs to become a tailwind. Mm-hmm. You don't get to blame. I don't want to hear your punk ass blames. If you want to sit next to me and say you're a leader, trust me. If you sit next to me and you're talking a whole bunch of blame, just know I'm gonna say you sometime. None of us laughing at your head saying you ain't no motherfucking leader. And when you make impulsive, go over those. When you make these, you succumb to external pressure. You don't have command of your life. You're seeking reward. You're avoiding punishment. You're measuring themselves against other people. You're doing comparisons. I know you're a victim of all that little trash because you practice blame. I already know who you are. This is called reverse analysis. If you're sitting next to me, you say, yeah, no, I'm a leader. I'm doing big things right now. And the next thing that comes out your mouth is blame. I know you're about to be a victim to one of those type of things. And then when you said to me, this happened to me the other day, I can damn near run through the list. So, were you comparing? No? Okay. Well, were you seeking rewards? Okay. Did you try to avoid punishment? Oh, that's what it is. You was avoiding punishment. Oh, so you have fear. I got it. No, you're so insightful. Oh, I think you just told me everything I need to hear. Your weakness is not, God is not bestowing you, nor are you internally weak. You developed a habit of blaming so long, you're making yourself so weak. The white man ain't holding you down. You hold yourself back. Men ain't holding you down. You hold yourself back. Soft men, women ain't holding you down. You hold yourself back. Blaming. You know, I was in a relationship, and you know the reason I didn't perform because she would always. Let me tell you something. I talked to some soft men recently. I had the displeasure of having those moments, and they started to blame their wives in front of me. I say, hey, brother, I don't even know how to talk this bitch talk, because you bitching up to me. I don't know how to talk like this. Now I'm calling this woman wife. I'm talking about he's acting like a bitch. You know, she did this to me, she did that, and then this is why I'm just not happy with her. I said, dude, you missed a whole bunch of decisions you could have made for yourself. I don't want to hear that shit. Ownership. Self-ownership. Stop blaming. No, I don't want to hear none of that. My friend, let me tell you what, blame is a gift. When you feel like you need to blame, look for the gift. The gift is this. It's telling you something that you don't know, you don't see, something you don't understand, and there's a lesson on the other side of that blame. Sometimes it may come to you weeks later, months later, years later. But trust me, blame, all you do is you wash the experience away that most of your lessons in business and entrepreneurship is going to be hardship. Come through hardship. But if you blame them, they never became lessons for you. They got dismissed and washed away out of your brain. And then you wonder why now you're making more money with bigger problems and cost you more money. It's because you avoided all those blame opportunities or opportunities for you to learn so you can make money up here and sustain your growth. But the reason you're weak now that you're up here, because you blamed yourself as you grew. You were blaming and you missed all those lessons. And now when that problem rises in front of you, which is the same problem you learned when you were small, you now have it when you're big, and you're not equipped to show up to that problem because you blamed it away when you were small. Mm-hmm. Turn around and look at every moment that you thought you was a victim and say, what did I cause? How did I cause this? How could I avoid this? What could I have done differently? What decisions could I have made? And trust me, this is when you become that wise adult. Some of y'all, once again, y'all kids with grown-ass bodies. Being a man is not a man. Being a woman is not a woman. Keep going.
We finished this.
Oh, okay, go next slide.
There's always something you can do in the moment today to better your position tomorrow.
There's always something you can do today to better your position. There's always. You won't see that if you blame me. You'll never see how, if you constantly have this repeated pattern of fucked up things happening to you, it's because you blame so much you blind to your own life. Keep going.
You might not be able to solve the problem, but your next action will make the situation better or worse. There is always an action you can control, however tiny, that helps you achieve progress.
There's always. Some of the shit's tiny. Let me be very clear. Going back to what I talked about the young man, some of the shit that's causing most of your problems and losses in life is your impulsive small reactions that's poisoning your big reactions. Let's say I walk through life and every time I'm around, I'm never organized. It's like I'm just always losing everything. I don't never have nothing organized. Nothing works. I mean, I'm just mistakes. Court comes to me and says, Nana, here's an opportunity for you to grow your business, but you need a partnership with Shakina. I said, Shakina, you want to partner with me? And then let me think about it. I'm thinking, what you got to think about it? Court, just, it's hella money on the table. Yeah, let me think about it. And she says no to me. And then later on I found she partnered with Akaja and they go after it. That's fucked up. I told her about, she betrayed me. You missed something. Your behavior you created a brand about yourself. You branded your reputation to the point that she didn't trust your reputation because you're known for not handling your responsibility on a small scale. But if I think about it, like the big thing, I may say, well, when I focus, I can remember my responsibilities. But she realized that you won't always have an opportunity to focus like that. So something small like that can get to the point where when she watches Kaj, she's like, Kaj is always on top of her shit. I went to her house, she's hella structured. I feel more comfortable with Kaj than I do with Nana because I don't like Nana to be focused. Just that small little thing right there. If you're the type of person that you're avoiding sticking with something, say for example, I ain't never seen you read a book, and we about to have an economic opportunity that requires us to use our thinking power. But I ain't never seen you sit down and stay focused. You think I'm gonna come for you as a partner? Then I'm gonna trust you. No. So once again, if you don't have self-ownership, self-accountability, you don't realize you're stealing opportunities away from yourself. I mean, this is almost a biblical description in this whole totality. Keep going. Next one. All right, because after this, you have to read that story. Okay. Go ahead. So go ahead.
Complaining is not a strategy. You have to work with the world as you find it, not as you would have it be.
So, going back to what the young man said earlier, there's a lot of shit you ain't gonna like in this world. A lot of shit you ain't gonna like. Accept it. There's a lot of shit you ain't gonna like. Accept it. The faster you accept it, the faster you can build strategy. The more you resist accepting the world for what it is, the longer you stay stupid. It's your ability to say, the world should be like this. Most activists are stupid as fuck. They spend all the time saying the way the world should be. This is why most activists can't build businesses. They live in a world the world should be. A lot of young people today are fucked because they run around the world should be. No, accept it for what it is and then work on your strategy. Strategy cannot exist built on a sand type foundation. It has to have a solid foundation for it to work. But your foundation is weak because your foundation is, it should be this way. People should, men should be like this. Women should be, parents should be like this. Life should be like this. This is why I hate the social justice world. You should set me for, I should be able to do, I should. Fuck no. Accept the world for what it, look, if you don't want to identify with, I'm gonna be a little bold here. What you gonna do, cancel my ass? Oh, fuck off. If you want to be a healthy they, you have to identify that men and women do exist. It's the cat who wants to say it should not exist, makes your strategy not work amongst the masses. Because then you don't know how to articulate your position because you can't accept what is. Accept what is. You didn't get here because of a they idea. You got here because of a he, she idea. It could have even been a test tube baby idea. It's still a she idea. Now, once you hear, you might say, well, I don't care for either one of the genders. That's not my preference. Cool. But understand, accept reality for what it is, as opposed to you buy into an idea that does not exist. Once you accept stuff, you will find yourself not being able to be influenced by so many bad ideas that's going to come across your table that by time, let's say Gabby take off right now and she accepts a whole bunch of ideas because she doesn't get an honest grasp of reality. She may live the next 30 years in pain, suffering, and never achieve nothing because she's been chasing make-believe butterflies her whole damn life because she never got comfortable with what really is in front of her. Okay, tell every adult, tell youngsters, when you become an adult, you got to work. You got to have responsibilities. Nobody wants you as a husband and wife if you don't understand basic home management. I'm sorry, it just is. Where you learn home management? With your family. If you don't do home management with your family, guess what? You are now on the trick list. That's real. Anybody got a lot to lose in their life? Like they got a lot of money or got things going on in their life? Okay, let me just tell you like this. No man chooses the woman who doesn't understand home responsibilities. It just doesn't happen. We go, you're on the trick list. Who wants to marry somebody who can't help me around the house, can't help me build anything, can't help me grow, and don't understand what that is? That means if you don't engage reality, you're not even a good mate.
Whoa.
Hey man, I'm just, I got bold. I don't, look what they're gonna do. They can't whoop me. I'm not here to make you comfortable. I'm here to tell the truth. It's like the more you accept reality, then you work on your strategy, and then you can become eccentric because you accept the reality, right? Like Prince was eccentric, but Prince knew how to play some damn instruments. Right? He can't be eccentric, but he don't play the damn instruments either. You're like, he's why ain't nobody buying my albums? I don't know what the fuck you doing, bro. That's just weird. You gotta be grounded. Something has to be grounded for this shit to work, bro. You on stage in a trench coat, some draws. Something gotta make sense to me. It gotta make sense somewhere. Okay. Come. No, I'm not gonna read that.
Hey.
No, thank you. Like, think about it. If a dude walked down the street, he has a trench coat on and some women underwear on, he don't get a good reception. But Prince was so grounded, it gave him room to be as eccentric as he wanted because he was still grounded. He made amazing music. But I can never say I would have necessarily put that picture on my wall. But go ahead. Okay, read the story. I want you. This story is not on the slides, but listen to this story. This story is so fucking powerful. Real quick, I want you to go with the story. Go with the story real quick. Go ahead.
Funny.
I think this is highlighted correctly, Nana. So one Sunday morning early in my career, does that sound
Yes.
right? Great.
This is the story. All right, Shabisha. Now stay with the story. It's not going to be written. So online, everybody stay with this story. But I'm going to show you where this is areas. Pay attention to where you would break. Kaj, especially you. I want you to pay attention to where you would break in the story. Go for it.
One Sunday morning early in my career, I arrived at work to find a colleague of mine already there.
Mm-hmm.
We were working on a critical piece of software for an upcoming covert operation. He approached me shortly after I sat down at my desk. That code you were writing was supposed to be done 2 days ago, he said. The operation is tonight, and we can't go without you. We still have to test. You've put the whole thing in jeopardy. People are relying on us. In the keep going?
Yeah,
Okay.
keep going.
In the post 9/11 world, we were all working nonstop and were under a lot of pressure.
So listen, they were working so hard, working nonstop. They're under pressure at this job. Okay, get going.
No one was sleeping more than 5 or 6 hours a night.
So you're at work and you only get 5 or 6 hours a night because you're working. You're busting your ass right now, right? Keep going.
Our health was questionable as we injected ourselves with coffee and Jolt Cola once or twice an hour.
Damn.
So that means you're working so much, you even slightly malnutrition. That means you busting your ass for a company or for somebody else. Keep going.
We were writing complex, mission-critical software at the lowest levels of the operating system. Difficult stuff, even in the best of circumstances.
So you're doing some stuff that most people can't do in the world. Keep going.
There was no manual for this stuff, and you simply couldn't Google how to do it. We were breaking new ground. The time pressure didn't help.
And to be clear, all this is happening to you. Also, you have a time deadline that you got to meet with all this exaggerated stress during COVID, and you're doing something no one's ever done before. So you're breaking new ground. You're creating innovation. You're about to make this company successful. Keep going.
We were doing all we could, yet it never seemed like enough. And after years of 60-hour work weeks and
Years. He didn't say weeks, days, years. Keep going.
And constant pressure, our personal and professional relationships were strained and starting to crack.
So you're breaking your relationships. You're busting your ass. To the point that even the stress has caused you to fracture in your communication. Keep going.
My response felt completely natural. But I had all of these meetings and got pulled into this other project the director said was top priority. And I planned to work on it Friday morning.
So stop. So what's happening is that he missed the deadline so far by 2 days. I was in all these meetings. I got pulled into all these different things. All this shit's going on. It just seems like a natural response to we're already working crazy ass hours, doing shit that no one's ever done before. We don't even have any support. We get to the point that we're doing 60-hour weeks. Keep going.
I planned to work on it on Friday morning, but the bus got stuck in the snow and it took 2 hours to get to work.
And I was on my way to work. It was fucking snowing. And then I don't control the bus. The bus got stuck. Keep going.
I thought I kept my composure pretty well, but my inner dialogue was even more defensive.
So but inside you thinking, like, why is this even talking to me? As much as I've sacrificed for this company, as much work as I put in, as hard as I work, watch this.
It went something like this. Dude, cut me some slack. It's Sunday. I haven't had a vacation in years.
It's an internal part of itself. Keep going.
I spend way more time with you than with my girlfriend. I'm doing the best I can, and nothing I do ever seems to be enough.
I spend more time in the office than I do in my own relationship. Why are you even coming at me? But I'm sacrificing my life for you. Keep going.
So you're telling me this wasn't your fault, he said innocently, setting a trap I didn't see.
His supervisor said, so you saying you missing this deadline 2 days ago is not your fault? Even though you've been through all this shit? Keep going.
Look, I said, a lot of stuff came up that I couldn't control. Don't worry, I'll get it done today. That's bullshit. It is your fault. Stop making excuses. He's turned his back and started walking away.
Keep going.
Do what needs to be done, or we'll have to call off the operation because of you.
Keep going.
He said without a backward glance. I suddenly felt energized, and not with the positive energy of surging toward a goal. The defaults took control. This was ego defending energy. I was defending my territory, defending my very sense of self.
Stop. Y'all been in this place before? You bust your ass for something. Somebody comes along and be like, you're fucking up. And you give them excuses. They like, I don't give a shit about your excuses. Fuck your excuses. Get the shit done. Now your ego is now feeling attacked. But guess what you're not doing right now? You're not taking accountability. Crazy. You act like a fucking kid in the adult world. You want dope money. You want dope rewards. But you want to move in the world like a fucking kid. Keep going.
There's no greater source of renewable energy in the world than when you're defending your own self-image.
Oh, says again. Read that one more time. You said what?
There's no greater source of renewable energy in the world than when you're defending your own self-image.
So when somebody's attacked, you feeling attacked, and you're defending your self-image, this is when you have all that negative, mad, angry, I don't give a fuck, I see red now. Youngster, this is when you're blind to your fucking actions. Keep going.
While my colleague didn't threaten me physically, he threatened how I saw myself as working hard and getting things done. And when someone threatens how you see yourself, you stop thinking and start reacting.
When somebody threatens how you see yourself, you stop what?
Thinking and start reacting.
Keep going.
I began writing up a list of all the things I'd done that week.
So I'm not working on a project no more. I'm writing up a list of email to send to my boss to let them know all this shit. Keep going.
How many hours I'd worked. How many projects I'd worked on. How many people in operations I'd helped.
What?
As I rehearsed these points, I got angrier and angrier.
I wish a motherfucker would. I'm writing. Keep going.
The inertia of my negative emotions.
The whatever your negative emotions?
Inertia.
Keep going.
Of my negative emotions turned into a powerful doom loop.
Oh, the doom loop. It's now at this point, you're ready to blow shit up. You're ready to quit your job. You're ready to end the relationship. You're ready to cuss a motherfucker out. You're in a doom loop now. Keep going.
I wasn't conscious of the path I was on.
Uh-oh.
I was reacting, not reasoning.
This is when you lose self-control here. This is autopilot, people. Stay with me.
My power to make excuses felt limitless. Who is this guy to tell me it's my fault?
Ooh.
He doesn't see what I see.
Ooh.
I emailed him the list. It filled over a page. His response arrived a few moments later.
Whoa, freeze. I can't wait. Listen what his response was. Go.
I don't care. It's your responsibility to our team and our mission to get your shit done. If you can't own that, learn from it and figure it out for next time. I don't want to work with you. P.S. Don't blame the bus for being late. Buy a car.
Oops. How many of y'all would have quit your job? And I need y'all to think about that. I need you to be honest. How many of y'all would have quit? If y'all sent that email, he says, I don't give a shit. And if you can't get it, I don't want to work with you at all. And P.S. Don't blame the bus. Buy a car. After all those hours of work, all that commitment, all that blood, sweat, and tears, because you're a child. And some of y'all are children on the inside. Because guess what? Go sign up for a hotel and get there. They say, oh, they didn't file your name. And by the way, we'll give you a room, but you get to the room, it's nasty. Oh, and by the way, your car got scratched by the person who parked your vehicle. You don't have no tolerance for that lack of unprofessionalism, except when you do it. And this how you didn't give a fuck about their excuses, nor did his supervisor. If you decide to, court said this already, when you decide to join a team of professionalism, that's what the fuck it's about. If you ain't ready for that game, then go pet cats or some shit. But the world of professionalism, I don't give a fuck how many hours you work. I don't give a fuck how many successful projects you had before. Because the customer, when I turn around, don't give a fuck either. We're not in the game of giving a fuck about all these people's emotions. I got 100 people I gotta give a fuck about all y'all emotions and why y'all wasn't professional. Fire you guys. Get somebody in here that's professional. But some of y'all, I promise you, are trying to run your own business and y'all in that emotional spectrum. I felt offended when he told me he didn't care about what's happening with my life. I've heard so many people go, ooh, to me all the time. Damn, Nana. What? Shit, now you sure are mean. I'd be like, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a shit. Why am I saying that? Because in this professional world, that's called accountability. You want me to subsidize this person's inability to be accountable? How do I run a business if my game is like tennis and I knock the tennis ball over the net, and that's how I make money from the way it's served back? How do I make money if it's always inconsistency in the process? That means no one gives a fuck about all your stories and where you come from and what's going on. So if you want to be a part of any structured system where people are building, leave your fucking excuses at the door and do what it takes or get off the fucking team. It's just, that's it. There's no in between. This is not that, oh, social justice. Do you feel do you feel threatened? Do you feel love? Do you feel the fucking bus pass in your hand to get the fuck up out of my office?
Where's that? Where's it at?
Like, honestly, like, black people, I'm gonna be honest with you. We've positioned ourselves as a culture where we got all these emotional dialogues of what we deserve because of the way we felt, and I wish a motherfucker would, and all this. Y'all want to compete with other people in this game? None of that shit matters. If you can't play this game, if you can't learn to be accountable no matter what and own your fucking responsibility, none of this shit matters. It ain't white supremacy holding you back. You don't have any accountability. You're a kid in an adult world. If you can't, Gabby, I'm gonna say this to you, but I'm saying this to all the children. If you don't master the chores, your adulthood is fucked. It ain't even no softer words. Because what you're learning in chores is accountability. Meaning that some days you do chores and you don't like your mama. Some days you do chores, you think she's a hypocrite. Some days you do chores, you feel like it's just too much. Some days you do chores and the shit seems stupid. It ain't about the chores. It's about you. And what you're missing is every time you say no, you retard your growth, but then you want to look older and be dumb. Some of y'all are now 40 years of age and you ain't no older than Gabby. That's because you avoid your fucking, I got to pay for these children, responsibility. I got to take care of my car note. I got to take care of all these bills. It's a lot going on in my life. Now, sometimes I feel, stop talking to me like a fucking child and be adult. Court, have you ever heard me cry to you about my bills I pay?
Hell no.
I ain't never had a fucking conversation a day in my life. You know, I got to pay this bill. I got to pay for the lease over here. I'm around $20,000 a month, and I still got to handle these responsibilities. But you know me, I'm going to hold myself together. Stop talking. I don't give a fuck about you like that. Be an adult. And guess what? When you become an adult, that shit just becomes just part of the foundation. It is what it is. And you'll move differently, and you'll function, and you'll show up to it differently. It's like, have you ever showed to something you feel like you shouldn't have to be there, or we don't want to do it, and have you watched your performance? It sucks. But when you learn to accept it and say, okay, it is what it is, you can raise the quality of how you show up to this shit. Mm-hmm. A lot of you guys struggle in a lot of parts of your life because you just don't have no accountability, from relationships to business to fucking health. Those are three areas I can have a whole session of accountability towards health, accountability towards your fucking relationships, accountability towards your business life. It's all trash. Fucking trash. And so at the end of the day, like going back to that story, the boss was super straightforward. I don't give a fuck about your life like that. I don't care about your excuses. I don't care how many hours you work. You sign up to be part of a professional team, then be professional. Otherwise, bye. Let somebody else replace, because the world doesn't spin. Look, there's going to come a day that we all in this room going to die, and the world within a few generations won't even know we existed. Yet you want the world to stop because you show the fuck up. What world are you talking about? Either you ride this, the ocean will keep moving. It's up to you to ride the waves, not for the ocean to wait for you to come along and help you ride your board. Some of y'all want the ocean to drive you and show and help you stay stable and get to your destination. The ocean does what the ocean does. It's up to you to learn how to master the different challenges the ocean will throw at you and stay on top of your what's the thing, your surfboard. Read the next slide, then we'll close on this next slide.
Josh.
Okay, next slide.
There we go.
Next slide.
I began
Keep
writing.
going. Keep next slide. We
No?
did that one up. She read that one already. Keep next slide. Go back. Go ahead. Right there.
Too often, the people we ask for feedback are kind but not nice.
I want to hit this one before we leave.
Kind people will tell you things a nice person will not.
Okay, go back to those superficial ass people I talked to you about. Kind people will what?
Tell you things a nice person will not.
Okay, keep going.
A kind person will tell you that you have spinach on your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
A nice person won't because it's uncomfortable.
You see,
A kind
come on,
person.
stop, Kaja. Go ahead, Kaja, go ahead.
This
Kaja said, wait, by the way, y'all said, I didn't hear her microphone. She's like, I'm so glad you came for me and grabbed her microphone. Keep going.
when we were doing the slide earlier, there's a part of me that felt like this makes perfect sense in a personal setting. In a business setting, if I need to build a relationship with you for business progression, what is more important, that I tell you about that spinach or that I secure that relationship? Like sometimes you gotta let that go while you're building the relationship.
No, we're not, it's not that rigid. What we're talking about is that leadership. The person who's leading don't get the same privileges as the person who's trying to be cool with them. This is a leadership lesson. This is not a masses lesson. So, for example, I often have to think about timing and when to tell you there's some spinach on your teeth, but you're gonna get that conversation.
You won't get that conversation.
Right? I'm not gonna avoid, it might not be right now because it might be the wrong time, because right now you might be crying about your wife left you. And I'll be like, yeah, by the way, your teeth are fucked up. Okay, that's not bad, that's bad timing, right? But going back to that earlier story about no one gives a fuck, we're trying to run a system here and we're trying to build and try to collaborate. I can't focus on me being uncomfortable and compromise our goal. So if I have to, so me being nice and trying to lead a team, mean that we don't get to our destination. I mean, excuse me, me being a kind. Yeah. Yeah, me being nice won't get us there. Me being kind is me timing when I will tell you and how to properly tell you and then how context to tell you in. That's me being kind. I'm gonna still tell you, but what I won't do is just avoid it altogether. And then we got all these elephants in the room and now we're all not working in synchrony because so many things we have not said. So that's the difference. Okay. All right, keep going.
A nice person avoids giving us critical feedback because
There you go. That's the part right there. That nice person ain't gonna give that critical feedback because guess what? They've already practiced not being uncomfortable. They practice on relationships by comfort. If I'm always engaging with everybody based upon comfort, that means that when it's time to give feedback, it doesn't work in our group because why? We're comfortable. The group by default has to embrace there's a certain amount of grit required for groups to compete. The head of NVIDIA was saying that he practices building grit in his team and get his team used to being highly uncomfortable. He'll say shit like, it's gonna be really hard and a lot of stress for us. And he wants them to embrace that word and get used to that language, because in order for us to get where we need to get to in an innovative world, somebody has to feel uncomfortable. But if we try to make everybody feel comfortable, we're flatlining creativity and innovation. So keep going.
Oh, there we go. Critical feedback because they're worried about hurting our feelings. No wonder we end up thinking other people will be interested in our excuses.
Say again.
No wonder we end up thinking other people will be interested in our excuses.
You see what's happening there? So This is how the social justice took off like a wildfire, and this is almost the gasoline to the fire. So, I feel when I'm in the office, I need to be seen as this. It's all the things we're not saying is why the disease of social justice has gotten out of control. Because social justice doesn't even serve the people that it's supposed to represent now. First of all, identity politics makes it where we can't see the flaw of social justice. You say, what do you mean by identity politics? If I say all Jewish people, what the fuck is that? There's no such thing. All white people, there's no such thing. All black people, there's no such thing. So if I say, well, we got to have more tolerance for black people, there's no such thing. What the fuck is that? You mean you need to have tolerance for people of high merit or high skill level, high performance, and you accept different diverse races? That's different. But the discrimination is merit, skills, performance. But when you have a low scale of addressing race and gender, you find yourself in the dumbest conversations you've ever heard in your life. All white people. There's no such thing just come out of the if you say all white people and start to talk after that, everything that comes out of that person's mouth, just start cleaning up the house and singing to yourself. Because it's the same, there's just noise in the background. It's fucking noise. Put on those headphones where you can't hear sound because they're saying stupid shit now. Right? Or if I say to you, you can't say anything about black people, Jews, whites, lesbians, gay, whatever. That's label supremacy. All labels are good and bad, strong and weak, right? All labels are. So labels don't have much value when you're navigating. If I just look for labels, what the fuck I'm doing with that? What am I doing? I can go one black barbecue and they playing dominoes and it feels like an old school soulful one. I go another black barbecue and they're eating caviar and don't really talk about anything soulful. They're both black. I go to another black party and they about nerdy and they just working on computers the whole fucking time and on their cell phones texting the whole fucking party. So you can't say, oh, black people, what are you talking about? So when you get to a point where you're so, do you realize we are in a nice pandemic right now? Y'all don't see it? We're in a nice pandemic. Everybody's trying to make everybody feel comfortable to the point that no one's being kind. Being kind is telling somebody, okay, I know you're part of LGBTQ and any other alphabet that comes after that, but guess what? You're still trash at what you do. And you still need to practice. And I don't give a fuck about your excuses or your gender or your background or whatever another fucking story you're about to tell me. If you don't deliver that contract on time, fuck off. And human beings will reach that point. But guess what we do? We're so nice. We're like, okay, well, maybe next time. And as you make all those excuses, your competition goes right on by you. Right on by you. You don't even know. Okay, for example, let's say a group of white men they came together and they formed Voltron. They were three different diverse dudes. One was nerdy, one dude was business, one dude was a lawyer. And they came together, they formed Voltron. And they was making progress, and they were literally making crazy progress. Like they was turning over crazy numbers. And while they turn over crazy numbers, they don't really want to break up that three because they're like, this shit's working. And then here comes a nice person, but I don't feel like you guys being three white men together, it just feels not nice to us. Because your great-great-great-granddaddy was hella racist. And I just don't feel comfortable with that. They break up those three and they bring in somebody to the circle who don't understand the culture. Not a black person brings the culture in, because if you bring a black person who doesn't understand culture, it makes the team even more aggressive. But you bring somebody into that circle that don't understand the culture, but you're just being nice by fitting them into the system, and you compromise the strength of that system. Because remember I just told you, when you build, you're attacking somebody else. Every time you build something, you're attacking somebody else. When Shakina built her gym, she attacked somebody else. So somebody has to, at some point, is going to attack her. So at this point, you got to be able to have these real world analysis, but when you're nice, you disconnect from the real world to make other people comfortable. And guess what you are? You're autopilot fool. You're autopilot fool. That shit cold, ain't it? If you really want to run some shit, you got to get comfortable with the world the way it is. Stop using the word should. I get you won't understand everything that's happening in the world. That's called learning. You learn how the world really works. That's what history is used for. And even history has its distortions because quite often the only things we write about is the most popular people. A lot of times history is overweighted with ego. That's why often we follow bad leaders because egotistically they made the best stories. The greatest leaders sometimes weren't written about because they were boring. Great leadership often is boring. What I'm suggesting to you guys is that you got to learn how the real world works, and then when you're confronted with the nice cult, you can just talk them out of your space because the shit doesn't make sense. But you can't even think. So I've seen brilliant white people freeze when racism is presented to them and they can't think past it. And they will literally give somebody that doesn't deserve merit space because of guilt. And it's all emotional decision. You're not talented, I'm sorry. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying systemic racism makes the game hella uneven. Like you go through inner city school, you go through school in Palo Alto, it's like this experience. The experience is not even close. So I'm with systemic racism. What I'm trying to suggest to you is that some of you guys are playing identity politics, nice games, and you can't see the field that's in front of you. And so it's making you superficial. You don't have rich feedback. You don't even receive rich feedback because if somebody gives you feedback, you get offended because you feel hurt and attacked. Because once again, the greatest energy you ever get is when somebody tells you you're not who you think you are. So now you mad as fuck. So now people realize you got an attitude. And guess what? No one gives you feedback because goddamn, it's just too much work. So everybody just watch you jump off a cliff every day and kill yourself. And they just gonna say they just wait till you on the way down. Oh, you gonna jump today? Hi. Well, make sure you hold your breath and keep it going. Because why? It's too much energy because you're too disconnected from reality to say, yo, this person giving me feedback, they fucking care. If they fucking care, I don't need to like it. I just need to hear it. And if I disrupt them with a whole bunch of emotional anger and defense and friction, no one's gonna ever talk to me. That means I'm a walking, I'm like the motherfucking zombies in The Walking Dead. I'm just following the motherfucking herd making noise. All right. Any questions before I go home? We good?
Where to find you.
Huh?
I know where to find you.
Okay, good. Yeah, we good? We good? Did I miss your question? We good?
I had a question. Being around the type of people that just continue to complain, it was something fun.
That's your fault. Yeah, that's right. If you're around people that constantly complain, you gotta bring. That is a thing. When you're around people that always complain a lot, like, oh, you know what's wrong? Like, okay, I got people in my life that love to complain. Being that we live to everybody and there's no firewall, I'm not gonna call out names. I'm doing what the court taught me that one. But there's people in my life that love to complain about everything. And guess what I do? Just let them complain and just say that's just who they are. Like if you have a partner who's always smoking weed because they want to avoid responsibility and they want to use weed as a crutch. Let them have that crutch. You just don't do that fucking. Yay, I'm over here. After a while, they'll stop hanging out with you because every time they want to get high, you never have no weed. Oh my God, well, isn't that crazy? And so, the day is like, you gotta learn to like move and find people that align with where you're going. Otherwise, the inertia of the people that you hang around will hijack your impulses. Keyword is not your deep thinking. I mean, your deep thinking will be over here, but your impulse behavior will be aligned with them, and you'll have the same outcome. You'll be the most smartest motherfucker in jail. Brother, let me tell you how the world works, man. I was reading this. I'm thinking I'm gonna give me a degree while I'm in jail. That's the reason you're here, baby. Okay. With that being said, as they say in San Quentin, we gotta get the fuck up out of here.